It all comes down to this, the final day, the final game of the 2022-23 Baseball South Australia season. It's the Division I Men's Grand Final, best of three series between the West Torrens Eagles and the Henley&Grange Rams. The series is tied at 1. West Torrens took Game 1 on Friday night, a 6-2 victory. That was close right until the very end. And in game number 2, it was a close game up until the 6th inning, where the Henley&Grange Rams got out of a bases-loaded jam, one of 5 bases-loaded jams they've got out of all weekend, and stormed ahead with a big 6th inning to race to an 11-3 win and set up a Game 3 blockbuster. You can already see the games that are being played between the two teams on your screen. On your left, you have an anthem standoff beginning with the West Torrens Eagles, and on the right, 2 members of the Henley&Grange Rams trying to finish off an anthem standoff. Let's see who bites first in this battle. All those little gamesmanships that happen in these grand final series. Both teams keeping the same players in the lineup, except a little bit of a lineup change for the West Torrens Eagles. Jacob Scott moving down the lineup to number 7, and everybody shifting up after that. And that's because Nathan Vanderlinden will be on the mound for the West Torrens Eagles. Eagles are looking for their second premiership in as many years, trying to go back-to-back. We haven't seen back-to-back championships in, well, a good number of seasons now. Sturt won one season. They won back-to-back playoffs, but they didn't win back-to-back seasons. That was the year that Kensington won on the callback in the minor rounds during the COVID season. So we're looking for our first back-to-back championships in almost a decade. Meanwhile, it's been 23 years since Henley&Grange have been in a grand final, and nearly 30 since they've won one. So a drought-breaking opportunity on the line for the Rams today. There's Russell Hart, there's Tyrone Hambley. They shake hands, they walk to their dugouts, but there's still a little battle going on in the field in the anthem standoff. Here is how the Henley&Grange Rams will go defensively. They'll field the ball first. Luke Travaskis in left field, Jack Partington in center, Phil Acosta in right. Liam Bull at third base, Koki Yanazawa at short, Giovanni Garbella at second, Landon Hernandez at first, and Griffin Weber is the catcher. Jordy Hodges will start on the mound. They're running out right now, and there is still an anthem standoff going on the field right now. Who knows how this will pan out. Reese Lounder, you can see over there on the side for West Torrens. I don't know how this is going to end up. Simon Wilson, you see on screen. There's Lounder on the other side. I don't know how you go about this in terms of who breaks first when first pitch is going to be thrown, but Jordy Hodges on the mound. This is his first full season. Last year he played the second half of the season and had an ERA hovering around 2. His first full year with some regular game time, normally used as a relief pitcher. He had 13 appearances, 4 of them were starts, but he threw 34.1 innings this year, allowing 32 hits, striking out 37, a 4.45 ERA, a 1.28 whip. When Jordy Hodges is throwing his strikes, he's a very difficult pitcher to face as a batter, but as it is with a lot of younger pitchers in this competition, if they're throwing a little wild, good batting teams, just like West Torrens, will be able to take advantage. It could be a bullpen day for both of these teams. Both teams used their 2 main starting pitchers already, so it'll be a situational game. We'll see how they cobble things together. West Torrens will lead things off with Nick George. Tom and Sam McGarry will follow up, followed by Tyrone Hambley, and Reese Lounder bites first for the West Torrens Eagles. So the first victory of the day, as meaningless as it will be on the scorecard, goes to the Henley&Grange Rams. And now that the shenanigans are out of way, we can play some baseball. Jordy Hodges, a lifelong Ram, has come up playing through the under 16 and under 18 teams. He played charter baseball in the Western Charter program. He was with the Waves. He was with then what became the Rays. Now getting his first true moment to shine in the deciding game for his club, looking to break a long drought. Nick George stands in, and let's play some baseball. Pitch rides up a little bit inside. Hodges, part of a Hodges is just a very well-known name in the Henley&Grange baseball community. As Hodges sails one a little bit high as well. Father Dom is the president of the Henley&Grange Rams. He's been a key part of trying to revitalize this program back to this stage. Finds the strike zone. Henley&Grange have been knocking on the door for the last few seasons, being contenders for the last 3 or 4 years. Reached the last 2 preliminary finals, which is where they were eliminated the last 2 seasons. And Hodges back in the count. It's a 2-2 count here with no outs here in the top of the first inning. Hodges will settle in again. Nick George led off game number 1 with a double down the line. He's aggressive when he wants to be. And he swings at one here. It's down the line again, and it just goes foul. It will be interesting to look at the replay. It was a good effort from Liam Bull over at third base. Right down the line, umpire was there. It's called foul. Keeps the count 2-2. Good battle to start the game. Nick George speedy on the base pass too. Just watched his sister Ashley win a grand final with Woodville not long ago, and he works the count full. Been a big year for the Georges. Their dad won a best and fairest in his division that he played in this season. Ash George just won a premiership with Woodville, and now Nick George trying to do the same thing. And their cousin just won an under 13 Div 1 grand final. My goodness. So Nick George, who's got some speed, is going to be on base. A first pitch walk that Jordan Hodges issues, and it sets up the McGarry brothers, the Bash brothers of this West Torrens baseball club. They'll get a chance to do some damage. The calling card of West Torrens is batting 1-9 in the lineup. Here's the pitch, just on the outside. But if they are a team effort in the lineup, the McGarry brothers are certainly what this lineup is crafted around. Both team players entered the weekend with nearly identical batting averages. 368 for Tom, 369 for Sam. They bat back-to-back in the lineup. They have for years. Pitch on the outside again. Tom McGarry, 2 for 3 on Friday night with 2 walks and an RBI. 0 for 0 last night with 4 walks. So he's 2 for 3 with 6 walks and an RBI. Doesn't really chase at anything outside the zone. He makes you attack them, and then he turns on it. 12 home runs, 32 RBIs on the season. First pitch for Hodges. George getting checked over at first. Landon Hernandez brings that in. So they'll reset with McGarry once again. He's already won 2 premierships at the Division I level with West Torrens. And it's a 3-1 count. Getting runners on base hasn't been an issue for West Torrens in this championship series. It's bringing them home. That's been the problem so far. Count rides full. And a full count battle early. Hodges looking to get George. It was a quick pickoff move. Hernandez still watching him. Nick George led the competition in stolen bases last season. Had only 12 this year, but his batting average drastically down, so he wasn't on base as much. But in these final series, he's found his way and terrorized the opposition. Full count pitch. It's a walk. The 7th walk of the series for Tom McGarry. He's had 10 plate appearances now, or 8 plate appearances now. And he finds his way on base. Sorry, 10 plate appearances, 7 walks, 2 hits. An on-base percentage of .900 in his 2 games so far. Sam McGarry up to bat. 1 for 5 in this championship series. He's got an RBI in each of the 2 games this weekend. George off the base again, and it hits him, and the ball rattles into the outfield, barehanded, and it's a 1-3 split. The throw from Hodges, I think, deflected off Nick George over at second base. Yeah, you can see it right there, right off the back, and it just slow rolled into the outfield. Koki Yanazawa, all he could do was scoop and hope, and nobody advanced to second. Can West Torrens break through? Swing and a miss. They've left the bases loaded 5 times. 5 innings in the 18 that have been played this weekend. They've walked off the diamond with the bases juiced. They've had base runners. They've left 22 on base combined in the 2 games. Hodges trying to dial it in. 1-2 count. Off to left field. Travaskis moving over, and it falls in front of him. George will score. Runner advances to second, and Sam McGarry has driven in the first run of the game. Stays with it and goes to the opposite left field. There wasn't much Travaskis could do about it. And now runners on first and second, no out, and already West Torrens have their noses in front. Pitch on the outside. Hambly just holds off. Nico van der Linden will follow. A slight lineup shuffle. Sees the coach call his name in the 4 spot. Fouls one straight back. He's having a good weekend, Tyrone Hambly. He's 3 for 8 with an RBI. Also has a couple walks. And 500 on base percentage. Swings through a pitch, makes it a 1-2 count. Last night, there was a great opportunity for West Torrens. They had bases loaded, nobody out. They scored 2 runs, kept the wheels moving, but then went strikeout, flyout, strikeout. Couldn't score more than 2. They brought 8 batters to the plate, only got a pair. Wasn't enough. They need to be more opportunistic now. Up the middle, and it's off Hodges' leg, and it's a fortunate bounce for the Eagles. It would have been a ground ball up the middle and likely a double play. Instead, it goes off the leg of the young pitcher, and the bases are loaded. A single to 1 for Tyrone Hambly. And Sam and Tyrone Hambly are not the most lightest on their feet on the base paths. It would have been a sure double play with Koki Yanazawa, Giovanni Garbella, and Landon Hernandez. Instead, it's bases loaded, no out, and West Torrens can put themselves in a great position here. Nico van der Linden up to bat. He's 1 for 9 this weekend. He's got an RBI in each of the games. At 2:17 entering the weekend. And a crucial first pitch strike for Jordy Hodges. The bases have been loaded so many times for West Torrens. This is the 11th at-bat that West Torrens has had when the bases have been loaded. They've only scored 2 runs. Hard to do. Pitch on the outside. One of them wasn't even a base hit. It was just a bases loaded walk. What can the Eagles do with their newest bases loaded opportunity? Hard hit ball to left field. It's tailing to the left and it falls. Travaskis cuts it off. McGarry getting the wave around. There won't be a play, and it's a 2-0 lead for the Eagles. A 3-0 lead make it. 3 runs on the board before an out is recorded. And this one was almost a mere image to the RBI that Sam McGarry had. Nico van der Linden has his 2nd hit and 3rd RBIs, 4th RBIs even, of the weekend. We know that Henley&Grange have tremendous firepower. And now a base hit down the right side. Getting the wave around and held up at the last second is Tyrone Hambley. And Mitch Newenborn turned on the first pitch. He goes opposite field, and it's bases loaded again. Well, we knew that pitching depth was going to be tested today. And I think Russell Hart is making the call to the bullpen before an out is even recorded. That will make the formula a little more complicated for the Henley&Grange Rams. And you feel a little bit for Jordy Hodges. You know that this isn't the start that he would have hoped for. But he has been a very valuable player for the Henley&Grange Rams this season and last season. Really is coming to his own. There was a player warming up in the bullpen. They made their way down to the dugout, but Russell Hart having a discussion. They're going to keep Hodges in there. I like it. A good little talk, and they can see if Hodges can get an out and get them out of the jam. There's still a lot of baseball to go. These outs are crucial for Hodges. Hodges, a lifelong Ram. An impressive junior career. Off to a really nice start in his Division I career as well. He's had some great numbers at Division II, making the transition here. And he hasn't exactly been hit hard. Both the hits to left field from Nico van der Linden and Sam McGarry weren't blasted. Same with Mitch Newenborn. And the hit to Tyrone Hambley was just unlucky it wasn't a double play. Shows how close this game of baseball is as Jacob Scott takes a pitch on the outside. If that ball goes up the middle that Hambley had, it's a double play, 2 outs, and maybe they're out of the inning right now. Instead, an unfortunate bounce, and it's 3-0. 0-2. Scott fouls one straight back. Jacob Scott 1 for 9 this championship series. Can Hodges bounce back? And it hits Jacob Scott. It's a 4-0 lead. Seven batters have come to the plate. 4 runs have touched home. No outs on the board. And now Russell Hart has to be thinking about when you make that call. Henley&Grange have a supercharged offense, and they are going to be tested to the ultimate degree. Masakayo Sawada, 0 for 2 in the regular season. He only had 2 plate appearances and 2 at-bats the entire season. With Nathan Vanderlinden starting, their usual right field spot needed to be occupied. They've called on the jack of all trades from Japan. And the pitch goes up high. It's a 2-0 count, or 2-1 count rather. A dream start here for the Eagles, already up 4. Fouled away. The 2-2. And a swing and a miss. It was a foul tip, but Sawada goes down swinging. That's the first out on the board, and now they're a double play ball from getting out of the inning. Jasper Clark, though, has a little bit of speed about him. He's 1 for 6 with 2 walks and 2 runs in this championship series. First pitch on the outside. Just so important that Hodges can keep it here, work himself deeper in the game. There aren't a lot of options for either team in the bullpen today. They're going to have to patch together 2 or 3 innings each and try to keep those runs down. Two 2-1 count. Clark flared over to right field. Acosta charging on. He calls off Garbella. He makes the play. The runner is tagging. He thinks more wisely, Nico Vanderlinden, and it was a good throw. And now 2 outs from Jordy Hodges. And the Henley&Grange Rams, they batted around the order now, as Nick George will come in for his second plate appearance of the inning. And if they can get Nick George out, it would be the 6th time that West Torrens leave the bases loaded. This time, however, they've cashed in 4 runs in the inning. Nick George takes a first pitch strike. Well, 4 runs before they even scored an out. A 4-run advantage, a 4-run handicap to start the game. Pitch on the outside again. Check swing down the line. It's a tough play. Barehanded by Bull across the diamond. He had to make the play. He's called safe. Nick George legs it out. They score a crucial run. It was a close play. We'll take a look at the replay. But the wheels of Nick George has made it a 5-0 game. This in slow motion. It was the check swing, and he went in. Well, it's tough to tell from that angle. It would be even tougher for the umpire. Bit of a discussion from Russell Hart and Landon Hernandez down here. Nick George having an animated discussion. We'll take a look at the replay again. Austin Gallagher now joining us in the broadcast booth as well, coming back from watching Kensington, his home club, find a win in the under-17s. But a 5-0 start here. West Torrens had 4 runs before an out was recorded. As Henley&Grange again see the bases loaded, but this time West Torrens taking advantage. Gally, welcome to the broadcast.
Good to be back.
5 runs on the board before you even get up here.
Hey, capitalizing on those bases loaded situations today, so good to see from them and good start.
A tough position for a pitcher to be out there. It all changed on a little slow roller that bounced off of Jordy Hodges' leg and into no man's land on what was looking like an easy double play. Completely unlucky, and the result is 5 runs. Those are the breaks sometimes in this crazy game.
Yeah, it is. It's those crazy hops, because as a pitcher, you know, your instinct is you obviously always want to try to field that ball, but if that gets through, then that's 2 outs and different inning right here.
Grounded back up the middle. Yeah, in this case, it was just hit right back at Hodges, and he was trying to get out of the way, and it hit his leg, and it kind of kicked in between second and first. Nobody was really there to field it, and a run scored.
Yeah, another unfortunate bounce, because at a bare minimum, I think you get 1 out there, but with the speed at which that ball was hit, I think you're definitely turning 2, and yeah, probably holding a couple more runs less this inning.
Tom McGarry pokes one to the outfield again. 1 run is scored. They're getting the wave around. There won't be a play at the plate. It's a 7-run inning. Touchdown, West Torrens.
That's a big swing for Tom. I mean, I know going into yesterday's game, 0 for 0 with 4 walks, he finally gets an opportunity to hit in a big situation, and with 2-strike hit with 2 outs, he uses that shift and hits the ball the other way, and that's what Tom always does. He's a run producer, and in those situations, you know, he's always a tough out, and he's always finds a way to get those runs in.
Tom McGarry now in the series, 3 for 4 with 7 walks and 3 RBIs. And now they're going to make the call to the bullpen. 2/3 of an inning. 7 runs on the board before we barely said play ball. And we know that Henley&Grange have a supercharged offense, but my goodness, they've got themselves some work to do today.
Yeah, they do. They do. And look, offensively, like we were talking about last night, all their stars aligned and they were all hitting. So that's what they got to do right here. They got to try to find this out. And looks like Simon Wilson's coming in, and you know he'll throw strikes. Defense got to get behind, but Henley's just got to get their bats going the next half inning.
I mean, they scored 7 runs or 11 runs last night, Henley&Grange, and they had what, 14 hits?
Yeah, that's right. They're capable of it, and day games with not as much wind, you expect to be a little bit more power and some, you know, potential home runs and some extra base hits today. So it looks like it's a good day to hit, and Henley's going to need their bats to fire from the get-go today. This
is the first appearance at the Division I level this season for Simon Wilson.
I know Willow, he's a tough competitor, and did a little bit of winter ball with him, and yeah, he throws strikes, and you know he's going to have to give them some innings right here, and hopefully pass the baton to a couple more of their guys later in the game. But you know, tough situation to come in, but as a reliever, not expecting to be in the first inning, and right here it's all just heart and try to get your guys through the middle half of the game.
It's a tricky situation for Russell Hart, because you figure his other pitchers he's going to use are guys like Jack Partington, Giovanni Garbella, Koki Yanazawa, but all those players would need to move position from the field to then pitch, and it's much too early to change that up defensively, although it is all of a sudden 7-0.
Yeah, you're right. This is where, you know, managing and a lot of tactics come into play here, because it's all about what Willow can do. You know, Koki can throw strikes, Gio can throw strikes, and, you know, at this stage, you obviously, you know, you're wanting to hold Pardo in case it does get into a situation where you're close or tied or have the lead. So Willow's just going to have to give him a couple innings here.
Well, a 7-0 start. I don't think a lot of people would have expected this with how close the last few games have really started. The scorelines don't indicate how close this series has been. It's been a matter of teams playing tight early and getting ahead late. But we are happy that you could join us wherever you're watching from around the country. Make sure you post in the comment section where you're watching from. Let's start off with that, where people are watching from on this, the final baseball game. Can you believe it's the final game of the South Australian baseball season, of all the juniors, seniors, men's, women's, all of it? It ends this afternoon in a couple hours' time.
Ends today. it's been a great weekend of baseball, and it's been a good season so far. And what better way to go out in a Game 3 series? And man, this series has been tight so far. So I know it's 7 runs right now, but for Henley's offense, that's not too much of a concern for them.
Well, Henley&Grange, I know they're a positive bunch. If you're looking at the positives, if you're going to go down 7 runs, you'd rather go down 7 runs in the first inning than go down 7 runs in the 7th inning where you have more outs to chase this thing down.
Yeah, correct. That's the biggest thing is, like we talked about yesterday, is mentally, you know, West Torrens had all of those situations with runners on and all of the bases loaded opportunities, and it was how they were going to respond today mentally with having those situations come up again. And you could see right from the get-go, I mean, coming out of the gate, 6 hits, 7 RBIs, and hitting a second time through the lineup, but I don't think they remembered much of yesterday's game.
Simon Wilson deals. Started with a walk to George, a walk to McGarry, then Sam McGarry had a hit and an RBI. Tyrone Hambley had the single in the infield to load the bases. The double for 2 RBIs from Nico Vanderlinden. And now this is poked up the middle again. Runner getting the wave around. Nick George is flying. He'll score with ease. It's 8-0. A snowman.
Snowman. Great piece of hitting right there from McGarry. Got another inside fastball. They've been busting him inside all final series, and he was able to keep his hands inside and drive that ball right back up the middle.
Well, Tyrone Hambley coming up to bat. He's used to seeing the snowman on the golf course on his scorecard, but he'll be loving the snowman on the baseball scorecard today.
He's loving it. And he's moved up a little bit in the lineup today, and he's had a great series so far, and, you know, hoping to cash in a couple more runs here. But, man, West Torrens came out firing today.
A massive lead already. 8-0. 2 outs on the board. Tyrone Hambley, 2 for 4 Friday, 1 for 4 Saturday. This is his second at bat of the game, and he's 1 for 1. Now, what are you saying in that Henley dugout right now? Or is there much to say?
Well, the biggest thing is it's 28-minute top half of the inning, so position players need to just get a little bit of rest, but it's mentally, I know you're out there, you're exhausted, but you just got to hit the refresh button, and from right here.
Hard hit ball, Hambley driven all the way to the wall, to the track, and Travascus makes a great catch to stop the bleeding. He had to bring that one in, keeps it at 8.
That's a heck of a play right there. I mean, those are the hardest ones that go right directly over your head. And he had a good beat on it. And luckily, at the last second, was able to time it and get that ball before it hit the warning track. But great play to hold those runs there. And that was another good swing by Bones that probably goes out at West Torrens.
Well, it is a high-powered lineup for Henley&Grange. Their top 5 is particularly scary. And Koki Yanazawa, Jack Partington, Giovanni Garbella, Landon Hernandez, Liam Bolt, Griffin Weber, Jetclo Hesse, Luke Travascus, and Phil Acosta. Last night, a sensational performance from the 2 to 5 batters. They combined for 10 hits, and you said it really well last night. The Stars needed to shine, and they were very bright last night. They're going to even need to be bigger and better. They need to turn into those super suns, those super comets tonight.
Well, all they got to do is just to stay within themselves. I mean, if you look statistically, they're all capable of having those type of games. I mean, Gio, for example, he led the league in every single offensive category, and going up against, you know, shortened pitching staffs, they just need to keep their positivity, roll with their approaches, and, you know, step up again today.
For West Torrens in the field, left field, Nick George, center field, Jasper Clark, Sawada, the Japanese player, over in right field. Jacob Scott at third, Nico Vanderlinden at short, Sam McGarry at second, Tyrone Hambley at first, Tom McGarry catching the balls and strikes. Now, it was a 30-minute first inning. 32-minute first inning, if you want to be exact. Nathan Vanderlinden would have thought, yeah, maybe I'd have an inning or 2 in the bag by now. Instead, he comes out to pitch the first inning now. Does this disrupt Nate Vanderlinden's preparation?
I mean, what more could you want as a starting pitcher before you go out there? You got an 8-run cushion, so
yeah, you take it.
Yeah, you'll take that. I mean, look, Nate's been in these situations many, many times before, and the key to, we were talking about briefly yesterday, the key to his success is locating that fastball in that sets up his changeup and his off-speed stuff away. So, given an 8-run lead, he's going to be able to feel this first couple innings out here and be able to establish what he wants to establish to allow himself to go later in the ball game, so he can set West Torrens' pitching staff up for the rest of the 9 innings.
Vanderlinden is a player that if he's going well, he can go deep. He could throw those 120 pitches if necessary.
Yeah, he can. And he's a guy that can throw in, out with his fastball, and then his off-speed stuff is very good too. And with the lefties in the lineup, look for him to use that changeup. And, yeah, if he's locating that fastball inside to both left-handed and right-handers, that changeup is going to be a very effective pitch for him today.
Koki Yanazawa swings away. How tempting is it for Henley&Grange to try to get aggressive to put runs on the board in a hurry, or is it a matter of just got to stick and trust the process?
I think it's just trust your approach. I mean, you can see what they've done throughout the season and what they did yesterday, that they don't really need to change too much up. They've scored runs consistently throughout the year, so whatever makes them successful, stick with that. And ultimately, if you do that, you're going to help your team win.
The rain is picking up in ferocity right now as Yanazawa skies one in the air. Vanderlinden calls off his infield, takes it himself, and makes the play. 1 down. The rain, what's it like pitching in the rain?
It's all about feel. I mean, it depends on, you know, what your grip's like and stuff on the ball. I know a lot of guys, they need some rosin and a dry ball, but it just depends on, you know, what your feel is and what pitches you have. But it's not the easiest thing to do, especially, you know, if you're not feeling something, it's hard to kind of get a grasp on what's coming out of your hand. But that's why it's important for him with this lead to try to just make sure that you can throw strikes and get ahead so you can get that feeling and grip on the baseball.
Well, I was going to say for West Torrens, there wasn't much that could happen that could rain on their parade, but now literally it is raining on their parade right now.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Up the middle, Jack Partington with a base hit. He has been the spark plug for this team, not just all season, but in this series in particular. It's his 4th hit of the weekend. He had a couple ribbies and 3 runs last night. Pardo doing what he does.
Yeah, that's a good piece of hitting right here. And this is also going to be interesting with Pardo on the bases because you expect him to go usually in the first 2 pitches, but being 8 runs down, and then you've got the middle part of your lineup up, will be interesting to see if they keep him as aggressive on the base paths or not. But I'm letting Gio and Landon hit here.
Giovanni Garbella, Triple Crown winner. Partington is going already. McGarry was not even going to entertain a throw, and I think Pardo knew it.
Yeah, no throw there. That's fine. I mean, obviously it takes a double play situation away, but
oh, it's going to be hard with Garbella and Partington anyways.
Yeah, exactly. In these conditions, why risk a throw into center field and get him third?
Pitch goes up inside. Now, a few walks in that first inning we saw from Henley&Grange, but we saw that in the women's game just a few hours ago when it was similar conditions. It was raining, it was stopping, it was raining, it was not. And pitchers definitely were fighting their control a little bit in that game too. Knocked to the right field line. Partington is going to be held up. And I don't mind the hold up here because it's going to take a series of hits, not just a 50-50 play to slide in at the plate to get back in the game.
Yeah, it is. You're trying to cut that lead every inning that you go out. So that was a good piece of hitting and no need to risk it right there. With Sawada out in right field, not really knowing what his arm's going to be like, no risk any chances right there. So good piece of hitting, get your 4-hole hitter up, and Landon's been hot this series as well, so give him a chance to drive these guys in.
2 for 4 on Friday, 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs on Saturday night. He also pitched 7 1/3 on game number 1. Runner is going, and they're going to wager the throw. Partington making a dash for home. Runner is safe at second. Partington scores, and Henley&Grange get 1 back.
Yeah, good heads-up play there. I mean, risky call being down by 8, but with 1 run, Pardo's able to read the throw and can take home easily.
Well, McGarry came up a little bit sore, it looked like, last night, or on Friday night in one of his moments. So you got to wonder, too, if Henley&Grange, they'd know this. All these players talk, they see each other as well. If you've got a catcher that's maybe a little bit sore, do you just want to even just test them early on and just see, all right, let's just see how you're feeling?
Yeah, you definitely want to test him, and I think the running game has been a big part of their success the past couple years, and you know, when you get into big games like this, you can't shy away from your strengths.
Hernandez opposite field, that goes foul. You even saw that last night. They manufactured those early runs completely by speed.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is just putting pressure on the defense. But with a big lead like this, it's a lot harder. It's a lot riskier and a lot harder to put pressure on the defense because they're just gonna try to take those outs. And as an offense, you're just trying to cut that lead.
Hernandez finds a hole. Garbella is getting the wave around. The throw in from George, cut off by Scott, and all of a sudden it's an 8-2 game.
There you go. Cutting that lead ever so slightly, but good piece of hitting again. That's going to be the game. It's at this stage, you can see both pitchers are trying to get that feel with the wet conditions, and it's going to be a high-scoring game here. So
it's going to be. There's already been 10 runs, and there's been 4 outs in the game.
It's going to be.
What
it's going to be a long game.
At this rate, there's 27 outs in a baseball game per team, so 54 outs, and now a base hit up the middle from Liam Bull. How's the series Bull he's having? And all of a sudden, Henley&Grange are up and about.
They're not too far out of it. I mean, you get another base runner away, you're a blast away from putting this in real close range, so that's way to be aggressive. And look, these guys, like I said, 8 runs didn't phase them. They came out swinging. They're jumping on the first pitches. They're driving guys in. They're having their running game. That's a lot of confidence for that Henley team to go down 8 and then to come back as strong as they have right here.
A wild start to game number 1. He went on the swing, Griffin Weber. He's 1 for 8 on the series, hit .277 on this season. Consistent season from Griffin Weber this year.
Yeah, yep. And he's done an unbelievable job behind the plate controlling his pitching staff as well.
Now the umpire's having a little bit of a conversation out in the right field line. I don't know if they're having a chat with a spectator or two. Rain again picking up, though. You can hear it rattling probably through your speakers at home. Again, let us know where you're watching from. We'll take a look at that and give some shout-outs at the end or the start of the next inning. Runner, player, is that Garbella going?
That's Garbella getting down to the bullpen right now. That's going to be an interesting move to see if they go to him the next half inning. But Henley needs to pick up a couple more runs here.
Weber on a pitch on the inside knocks it foul. Now the umpires too, at what point do you look at saying, hey, we got to delay the game to add another wrinkle into this equation?
Another massive wrinkle. Look, I think the field is going to hold up all right. It's just the grip on the baseball. I mean, the grass is going to get pretty wet, and yeah, it's just the control of being able to throw balls.
Swing and a miss. That is a big strikeout from Nathan Vanderlinden. His first one of the day, and it's 2 down for Henley&Grange.
And that was the changeup that set up that whole sequence. He went first pitch changeup to get Griff on the check swing, and then went fastball up and in, and then got fastball away. So that's how valuable that changeup was, and I think Nate just came out throwing a little bit too many fastballs. He's got to mix his off-speed stuff in just like he did there, and with a lefty up, that changeup's a big pitch too, so look for him to try to go to that a little bit more in this sequence.
Jet Clohessy up to bat. He is 3 for 3 last night.
Yeah, Jet's been hot. Jet's been hot in this postseason.
Talked to one of his teachers earlier today. More on that in a second. Fouled up, straight in the air. It's in foul territory, charging on, and three players made a play on it. It was in and out of the glove of McGarry, then off of Scott and onto the ground, and Clohessy lives to fight another day. We'll look at the replay in a second, but what she said is, Clohessy, good heart, full of energy.
Yeah, he is.
Can you feel that when you're coaching him too?
That's awesome. Yeah, he's a great kid. Always ask questions, but he's played in a lot of these championship games earlier, and yeah, he's staying alive right here. But
yeah, growing up as a kid, he's been part of this Henley&Grange program for a while. And
that was almost the Pete Rose play right there.
Hot potato, hot potato.
Lives to fight another day. There's the changeup.
Hesse, ground ball. Vanderlinden scoops, fires across the diamond, and outreaching Hamley. Well, that 4 players that were lights out last night for Henley&Grange contribute with a hit each. They scored 2 runs, so they cut into the deficit a little bit, but what an eventful first inning as Hesse grounds out. We'll take a quick break. West Torrens in front 8-2 in game 3.
Oh, you got more in there.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Back at the ballpark here at Bennett Field on beautiful Ghana land. A few people watching all across the country and everywhere from Mount Barker to, which is just around, 40 minutes down the road from here, all the way in WA, from Melbourne and Queensland. Maddie Scott watching her brother play from Kentucky, and people watching in Cairns all over the country. People are watching the game right now. 8-2 lead. And we're at the end of the first inning, so it was an eventful one. Lots to recap, but one of the players that had a 2 RBI base knock was Nico Vanderlinden, and he's up to bat right now. And Vanderlinden will roll one over to Yanazawa, scoops, fires, 1 down. It took 8 batters to get the first out in the first inning for Henley&Grange. It takes 3 pitches in this one.
And that's a good start, and that's what Henley needs. Henley just needs, you got to throw strikes and let the defense make the plays. Like we talked about earlier, you look around the infield, everybody's a very solid player. They've all made all-star teams in their day, and let them work.
Mitch Newenborn had 1 for 5 with a home run and pitched a crucial inning in game 1, 0 for 3 last night. He's got a base hit and scored in this one already. Just signed with the Philadelphia Phillies as a pitcher. He's trying to show bunt, perhaps, and try to catch them off guard. You saw how far back the infield was playing. And he's quick.
That's a tough play for any corner infielder to make on a run, too, in these conditions as well. So
Wilson now in the game. Simon Wilson hasn't pitched in Division I this season, but I'm assuming he pitched in Division II?
Knuckleball.
Certainly pitches in winter ball.
Yeah, he does. Catches a little bit, pitches a little bit, does it all. Swiss Army knife, but big-time competitor.
And that's exactly what the Rams need right now. These two teams met yesterday afternoon in the Division II Grand Final as well. Swing and a miss. That one tipped away. Gets a couple strikes on the board. Yeah, Henley&Grange would be looking for a quick inning right now and then try to attack it again in the second. You imagine if they can just get in touch in this game, that's when the energy starts to come out. And we saw this twice in the women's game where a pitch literally slipped out of the hands and went behind the batter.
Yeah, and that was a knuckleball right there. That's pretty hard to throw in these wet conditions, but just luckily missed him. So good setup pitch for Willow right there.
Simon Wilson won the anthem standoff at the start of the game.
Luck's on his side today. So, but big pitcher right here. If Willow can sit Newenborn down, if he can get a 1-2-3 inning, that momentum's back on Henley's side.
We have base runner again as Newenborn heads to first. Jacob Scott comes to the plate. He was hit by a pitch and got an RBI for his valiant effort of standing in there and facing that fastball that got away.
That's it. And another opportunity here for Scotty with runners on. So a little bit lower in the lineup today, so hopefully takes that pressure off and can get some fastballs, good fastballs to hit today.
Pitch on the outside. So fastball, knuckleball. How many knuckleballers do these players normally face?
Not too many. Not too many. Willow will throw the kitchen sink, though. So he's got a couple different pitches.
Would he be loving this right now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He can throw strikes. That's the thing. He'll keep him off balance. He's got a pretty big hook, and, yeah.
There's one of them right there.
Yeah. Little split from time to time, so. Just needs to throw strikes and let that infield work.
Pitch on the outside once again. But an 8-2 start already in this game. Jams. Yeah, it's in an awkward spot in the outfield. Jack
what a
Partington! What an unbelievable play, and Partington then airmails the throw. But let's not take anything away from that catch. Pardo couldn't let anything happen in terms of more damage, and Jack Partington just laid out. Look how far he travels here.
That was full extension right there. Full extension. ESPN play right there. I love it. I love it. Put his body on the line, but also makes this line look a little better with the rain, too. So he, got back up and still almost turned a double play over at first, but that was a hell of a play. That ball's in no man's land, and it's easy to hesitate when you got the infielders going back to avoid a collision, but he went max effort the whole way.
Sawada, first pitch swing. It's skied in the air. It'll be playable. Garbella makes the play. No damage done, and that's crucial for Henley&Grange.
That's a huge zero for Henley. So coming back in offensively, if they can put up a few here, they're right back in this ball game.
What an unbelievable effort, though, from Jack Partington moments ago, and it changed the whole complexion of the inning. Partington could be up next inning. He's not due up, but he'd be the one right after with Travaskis, Acosta, and Yanazawa coming up. And Henley&Grange, they just got to keep grinding away and chipping away at it and try to make this a game.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They can hit, so they just got to keep chipping away. And if Willow can go out there and throw strikes and defense can make some plays, it's going to be a ball game.
Well, a big season for both of these teams. West Torrens, they came on late. Entering last night, they had won 10 in a row and 20 of 22 before they dropped it to Henley&Grange, who started off the season winning 21 of their first 23 games. They were the wire-to-wire leaders of the Hilltop Office Supplies State League. They haven't won a grand final in about 3 decades, so it'd be a big, I think it'll be a big party no matter what the result is, but an even bigger one over at Westlakes if they can get the job done today.
Yeah, they're definitely hungry for it. So, look, West Torrens has been in this situation. I know Henley has been fired up, and look, their offense is going to score. So as long as they just keep mentally positive, everybody's going to be in this game, and it's going to be an interesting finish, to say the least. 2
big plays in the outfield already. Luke Travaskis with a catch on the wall, and then Jack Partington diving to make the play in center field. So they've already scored 8 runs, but it could honestly be worse.
Yeah, it could. A lot of runners on base, so what Henley needs is the bottom half of the lineup to work their way on as well, to set up the top half to drive them in. And, they're looking for another 2 spot this inning. Cut that lead in half.
The middle of the lineup, those 4 players of Partington, Garbella, Hernandez, and Bull now have 14 hits combined in the last 10 innings of play. So if they can get a couple runners on, Travaskis, Acosta, and Yanazawa trying to do the job as this is poked out towards right field. Sawada moves back on it. There's one down. But you're right. If they can get a base runner, then maybe they can try to tack on another one.
Yeah, that's right. And that ball was hit really well, too, by Luke. Good read on it by Sawada, but Yeah, they just need to try to manufacture a couple runs here, and that momentum in these kind of offensive battles, that momentum is what's going to be crucial in firing your offense and your team up to keep that train rolling.
Phil Acosta looking for his first hit of the championship weekend. He lays down a bunt. It goes right to the pitcher, scooped up by Vanderlinden. 2 quick outs from Henley&Grange. Probably wasn't.
No, that's not where he wanted to go. That's big by Nate. Look, anytime you get a first pitch out is great, but unfortunately for Phil, I think he was trying to go down that line, and just like we talked about, it's not easy to field a bunt, but when it's hit that hard back at you, Nate'll be able to make that play.
Koki Yanazawa all weekend, even in that first at-bat of the game, has been engaging in really long, tough battles with the pitcher. He's only had 1 hit this week, and you feel like he's due to really break out, and the balls will start falling eventually.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, like I said earlier, he's got tremendous bat speed, and he can cover every pitch on the plate. So I think for him, it's just trying to stay within his approach. He was getting a little bit big earlier on the series, and
now he goes big, back right field, and gone.
See ya.
Koki Yanazawa right on cue. Busts out with a home run. It's 8-3.
There's that fastball. Turn and burn, baby. But that's that bat speed. And, look, he didn't miss that one. He had a lot of foul balls. He was taking some big swings, just missing some, and didn't miss that one.
3 unanswered from Henley&Grange, and you got to figure with every run they get, you know, they've scored 2 in the first in response, and now they've cut the lead to 5. The belief in the dugout does have to start growing with every run you get closer.
Yeah, 100%. They don't need that massive inning. All they just got to score is just 1 or 2 every inning. Just chip away, hold them defensively, keep the faith, and allow this game to be, you know, a close game by the 7th, 8th, 9th.
Well, before they even got an opportunity to bat, they were down 8 runs. So break it down simply, Austin Gallagher. I'm a math guy. As Jack Partington takes another pitch, there's 9 innings. You're down 8 runs. You want to win the flag, you got to win every inning.
Yeah, you got to win every inning. That's all it's about. But
easier said than done.
Yeah, a lot easier said than done. And I think what you got to do offensively is just try not to.
Partington, a line shot again. He's seen the ball well.
Yeah, he is. And that's the thing, loud outs. So they're either getting hits or they're making loud outs, and it's still a good sign for Henley. Look, coming away with 1, that's still good. Put yourself within distance, but their offense is there.
Well, Henley's still down 5, but they've got 2 back in the first, 1 back in the second. Can they continue the charge in the third? We'll take a quick break and then bring you Game 3 of the Hilltop Office Supply State League Grand Final.
Citadel IT has been built on the foundations of trust and reliability. We have experience in all aspects of IT, including cloud computing, security, networking, and more. If you are looking for an experienced team that will give you an honest answer about your business needs, then contact Citadel IT today.
Thanks again for tuning in wherever you're watching from. Brett Ettridge tuning in from Queensland. Jess Maslin, who was out supporting the women in the Division 1 game. There's a good crowd down here for the Division 1 game. A nice little atmosphere. Jess Maslin's home now watching us. Carrie Hammond, her dad, Kevin Medley. Everyone knows Kevin Medley in the baseball community, in the West Torrens community. He'd be watching down with all his West Torrens teammates that have passed, willing the Eagles on. Jamie Savage tuning in as well. And Gally, someone that you are very familiar with, and also Henley&Grange because he played there last year. Barry Nuge, Bassnoy.
Boss, yes.
Watching from Darwin.
Yep. Just became a dual citizen.
Did he?
Yep.
And a father.
Yes, and a father.
A dad, a citizen, and a guy living that NT bush life right now in the great Dutchman, Sir Bassnoy.
That's it, Sir Boss. Miss him.
Jasper Clark leading things on for West Torrens. He takes that pitch on the inside. Yeah, it felt weird without a Basnoy in the baseball community this year. He becomes such a mainstay in this community.
Yeah, he's one of the great characters in baseball today. And
I mean,
yeah, he's always
was it
fun.
really a Caps medal without Basnoy wearing his kilt?
The attires were not as spicy this year, to say the least.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know. I don't know if you're tuning in on the stream wherever you are. What's the best Caps medal outfit that you've seen? You've had some good ones too with the cowboy boots. You'd be up there in the conversation, Gally.
There's nothing that compares to Boss.
Oh, he sets a new standard. He's in his own league. There's not even a standard anymore.
Yeah.
You just eliminate Boss and you reward it to number 2.
The one-piece tuxedo he had the one year was pretty outstanding.
I remember that. The kilt one year, right? I don't know. What was Bass's favorite, I wonder? That was, it was gold.
Oh, and gold. Yeah, he had a solid gold one, too. Yeah, that was good.
Nick George takes the first pitch strike. Yeah, just not the same. Just not the same. Nick George, first pitch strike. That's a big one from Simon Wilson. There's a runner on first base, and Jasper Clark. He's got some wheels. We'll see if he goes. Wilson trying to keep him in check. You feel like 8 runs is still, there's going to be more that West Torrens will score. But a good job from Wilson to come in, finish out the first, stop the bleeding. And getting 3 outs in the second, but the leadoff runner aboard now.
And that's something else, too. Like, you talk about a guy that hasn't been in the situation, and your first situation in Division I of the year is in Game 3 of the Grand Final, and it's wet and rainy. So
good winter ball prep.
Yeah, good winter ball prep, exactly. But look, he's looking to come out here and throw strikes, and in these situations, it's really tough to control the running game as well. And as you can see, ball in the dirt. But Willow needs to get back in this count and try to find that grip again.
That pitch does find the outside edge. 2-2 count.
Good pitch right there.
Looking for that double play ball. You saw Garbella warm up earlier. Obviously, he's at second base right now. And the rain coming down once again. Colder day than it's been in, what, nearly a month, as Bull gets
ball.
1. Garbella for 2. It's thrown away. They get the lead runner, though. And Nick George is pretty quick, so that had to be a quick transition.
Yeah, it did. And look, in these conditions, 2 throws is always tough, but they had to rush that throw with George's speed, and unfortunately it was just a little high for Henley. But
well, George beat out a run at first base in his second at-bat in the first inning, and that cashed in a run. An RBI for Nick George. He's now been on base 3 times, and we're in the 3rd inning. Tom McGarry, well, let's get his math on his weekend right now. So 2 for 3 in Game 1 with 2 walks, 0 for 0 in Game 2 with 4 walks, and a walk and a hit today. So he's 3 for 4 with 7 walks. So he's reached 10 out of 11 times, which puts his on-base percentage at over 900.
yeah, that's all right. But that's what we were talking about yesterday. It was probably a little frustrating for Tom because 0 at-bats. 4 plate appearances, 0 at-bats. Didn't get a chance to play yesterday. Got a chance to play, a couple RBIs, been on base.
Well, he's got in his 4 at-bats that he does have, he now has 3 RBIs on the series. He's the RBI leader of West Torrens the last 2 seasons, led the league in RBIs last year. And would have been right around the mark this year. He was among the leaders, but Garbella was just a couple inches ahead of the competition.
Yeah, he was outstanding this year.
McGarry down the line again. It's another base hit. 12 plate appearances and 11 times on base for Tom McGarry.
And another 2-strike hit as well. So you see that plate discipline. He's not afraid to get to 2 strikes because he's comfortable with that strike zone. And second at bat came up and took advantage of the shift, put a changeup in play for 2 RBIs to left center, and this time gets a curveball down in the zone and uses that 4-hole for another base hit to move the runners around. So good piece of hitting and pass the torch to his brother.
Sam McGarry was hit by, or he's got 2 hits already in this game. He's 2 for 2 with an RBI. So the McGarrys are off to a great start. 4 for 4, a walk, 2 RBIs, and a couple runs.
They are, and the good part for Sam was in that first at bat using the opposite field. He's got to try to hit the ball where it's pitched, and you can tell even in his second at bat he gets a fastball in, and instead of trying to yank it, he stays to the big part of the field and gets a base hit.
Wilson with a great pickoff move. George on the rundown, he slips. One runner tagged out. McGarry advances to 2, but there's more good Henley-Grange defense.
That's a great move right there by Willow. George is always aggressive on the base paths, and he's always looking to take third base or whatever base he's on. He's looking to steal. So, good inside move, good timing play, and in these conditions, Nick just couldn't get back to the bag.
Sam McGarry still stands in. His brother Tom now in scoring position, and it looks like the mud is what would be the hard part. You can see the front of that mound right now. There, it looks a bit murky, muddy, and slippery right on the base, that landing area for these pitchers, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the landing spot that's the worst because, when that front foot lands, you want to use that as a leg block, and anytime that slips and slides, it's really tough to get your feel in your extension when you're on the mound. So you got to make sure that's a clean spot for you to land on, and, yeah, that needs to stay consistent for the pitchers.
Still raining at an okay clip right now. Grounded up the middle, ranging over Garbella on the backhand. In the dirt, it slips away. It's going to cost them a run. So defense probably took away a run earlier, but cost them a run here.
And that's a huge insurance run right there by West Torrens, because you would think that in a normal day that's not raining, they get out of that without a run. And conditions on a high chopper like that, Garbella has to release it with probably a little less grip than expected, and tough ball for Landon to pick over there, and unfortunately gets by, and West Torrens scores another run.
Well, we saw this in the women's grand final earlier. It was fielders and pitchers that were just struggling with grip of the baseball, and a couple balls were either in the dirt or just a little bit away. Everything happened a little bit quicker. You saw pitchers, like Darnavine and players that are generally very high control pitchers, the ball literally slipped away and went behind the back of the batter. You saw Simon Wilson do that earlier in this game. A ball just slipped out of his hands and goes behind the back of Mitch Newenborn. It is a problem for both the grand finals here today that just doesn't make the game as clean as it normally would be between these two teams.
Yeah, you're right. And to put it in context, Gio makes that play. That's 2 scoreless innings for Willow coming in to pitch. So he's been doing his job, and look, in these conditions, it's going to happen to both sides of the field. So all you got to make sure of as a batter is you're putting the ball in play and having good quality at bats.
That's an interesting point. You don't want to be struck out or go down wondering, because, yeah, even those easy plays are going to be made difficult on a day like today. We've seen that in 2 games in a row now. Hambly drives one to left field. It's deep, it's to the wall, and a Jack Partington makes another great grab.
I can't believe he covered that ball. I mean, I can. Pardo gets to everything, but that ball off the bat was, I was just looking at Sam. I was like, is he going to score? But for Pardo to range all the way over there, he made up a lot of ground. And that's well on the left field side of center field.
13 paces he took to get that ball, and they were in full stride. Watch this replay again, and you can count them on how many steps he had to take, and they were big leaps as well to get that ball. He made the diving one to his left early, and that one he had to range to his right, track it through the gray, and somehow find a way of getting that ball. That was a fantastic play from Jack Partington.
That was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. That ball was hit well. Like I said, that was well into left field. And I was, honestly, as soon as that ball was hit off of the knuckleball, I was just looking at Sam to see if he had good footing to be able to score. And I look up, and Pardo had that ball without even diving.
Both the managers right now having a conversation with the umpires. Is this likely about the rain?
It's definitely about the rain. It's also going to be about the footing on that the pitchers have on the mound, because that's going to be the main concern. Obviously, very good. Obviously, the playing conditions in the rain is going to make it tough for the position players and stuff to throw. But what you don't want is pitchers to be slipping and losing their footing when they're delivering a ball at home.
Well, Giovanni Garbella, Landon Hernandez, Liam Bull up to bat. I mean, this is going to be one of the ones you monitor field conditions. I'm going to have to take a look at the radar maybe in the next innings break and see what we're looking at. If there's no more rain, maybe the field kind of needs it, to be honest. But throwing the ball is tricky in this. But 5 innings constitutes a game, so there's no doubt the umpires have that in mind and say just do everything possible.
Yeah, you're right. Look, they're going to get this game, man. I think even if it has to get pushed back, but if it stays like this, I couldn't imagine them stopping it. But
we'll look down at the corner of the infield behind first base. First pitch swing, though, from Garbella. That stays foul. Ooh, it looked fair from here, but we're in an awkward angle. There's literally a fence cutting the line off, so there's no doubt the umpire has a much better view than us. We'll see it on the replay, I'm sure, but Garbella teed off on that first pitch he saw.
Just hooked foul, and that's Gio. I mean, he's a great hitter. When there's pitches in his zone, he swings. He doesn't usually miss. Just a little bit early on that one.
Pitch on the outside, but they were that far away from having a man on second base at least. 8 hits. 5 hits. 8 hits to 5 right now. Now in opposite field. Back to the wall. And Giovanni Garbella has hit a home run.
Wow. That's some big-time power there to go opposite field. And to keep that ball fair, that's an unbelievable swing.
Well, you talk about Tom McGarry's weekend. You saw his numbers. How about Giovanni Garbella now? That will bring him up to 5 for 6 with a home run, 2 RBIs. Yeah, 5 for 6, home run, 2 RBIs, and 5 walks. So just like McGarry, Garbella has reached 11 out of 12 plate appearances.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Except now he's got a home run to his name, and now it's a 9-4 game.
And now he's got a homer, and you would expect that Henley gets a little bit closer here. He'll probably be coming in on the mound.
Man, we're sitting here right now watching this game. I feel like maybe we should trade shots. We just saw a guy walk up here, John Casey, who calls all the basketball for the NBL and the Adelaide 36ers. This feels more like a scoring basketball game than a baseball game. Maybe we should get him in here.
Yeah. It's been pretty fun. Every game this series has been a little bit different. This one's just a slugfest, and it's been pretty fun to see. But this is exactly what Henley needs. They just need to keep chipping away and trust their offense.
Landon Hernandez swings through a big off-speed pitch from Nate Vanderlinden.
And there's his changeup right there. That, in my opinion, that's his best pitch. He needs to stick with that a little bit more. And when he can utilize that in the strike zone, he's very tough to hit. He keeps guys very much off balance.
Well, Henley&Grange, when they were down 8-0, now at least they haven't lost this third inning. They've got it tied 1-1. Swing and a miss on a pitch on the outside that fools Hernandez, 1 down.
Good pitch by Nate. That's another good sequence. And look, all set up off of that changeup. Getting a fastball in, throwing a changeup low and in, getting a chase, foul tip, and then finish him off with the slider away.
Liam Bolt will step in. He's had a really, really nice weekend. Bolt 0 for 3 with an RBI game 1, 3 for 5 in game 2. He's got a hit already. He's got 3 RBIs, but it's the way that Bully has had his RBIs. He had 1 on a standard hit to left field, 1 off of a bunt, 1 on an infield hit, like he's played, or 1 to right field rather. So he's done 3 different ways of scoring runs.
Yeah, you're right. And Bully's just taking what the pitching staff has given him, but that's a testament to his maturity as a younger player. He's not trying to do too much. He's taking what they're giving him. If it's a fastball outside, he's hitting the ball the other way. If it's a breaking ball down, he's able to pull it. Fastball, he's driving guys up the middle, looking for the butt to move the run around and get another runner in. So he's been having an outstanding series.
Bolt jammed into foul territory. Hambley charging on in front of the dugout. He makes the play in front of the fence.
What a play. No fear there for Bones. That's a tough play, especially in these conditions. You don't know if you're going to keep your footing, but game 3 of a final, he's going full speed.
2 down. That's a tough one to make with a fence.
That is. I like the 1.5 speed right there. That's my Bones up a little bit, but that is a tough play. Going full speed, coming in right into the fence.
Griff Weber takes a first pitch strike. Good bounce back from Nate Vanderland, and is now working a little bit quicker too.
There's the changeup. That's his key pitch. So that's exactly the same thing that he started Griff off last time. So we'll see if he goes back to that fastball way or if he sticks with that changeup. There it is, breaking ball away.
Got him looking. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 3 on the game. Henley keep trying to peg their way back. Garbella with the long shot makes it a 9-4 game. We played 3. The deficit is 5. We'll be back after this.
Here at Just a Thing Furniture, we offer quality, factory direct furniture at wholesale prices. From wall clocks, prints and lamps to couches, beds, rugs and outdoor furniture. We make furniture affordable, where you save up to 80% on retail, offering you the finest furniture at discount prices. When you buy from us, you won't wait months for your new furniture. Everything you see is ready for immediate delivery, and mention Super League Baseball and we'll deliver it for free. We pride ourselves on customer service, and our team works tirelessly to offer our customers on-trend furniture at heavily discounted prices. Visit our huge warehouse in Beverley, open 7 days a week, or jump online to check out our latest deals at www.justthethingfurniture.com.
Back at the ballpark, a 9-4 game. Big thanks to people watching all over the place. Bass Noise give his little, he's saying strong outfit game. Jess Maslin saying that Bass is untouchable when it comes to outfits. But a big thanks to James Pokenhorn, who is listed out all the comments that we were missing on YouTube. A bit harder for us to pull that one up, but people watching from the CBD, from Brooklyn Park. Liam Scott tuning in from Clarendon, Texas. Good to see Liam Scott do well. That's another bright talent as well. And how about in San Diego, the Garbella family just watched the Garbella bomb.
Awesome. Shout out to them. Gio's been awesome out here with the community, and stellar to have him out, and stellar year for him.
Someone named Sean, I think it's pronounced Maple, maybe? M-A-P-L-E. Sean Maple? He says, Eric is a good-looking man. Sean Maple says, hello. Nothing about you, though, Gally.
No. Yeah, I gave him a little banter yesterday, but off with his second homer of his college season, so shout out to him as well.
Riley Yateman tuning in from Arizona. Good to see another South Aussie keeping in touch with the local leagues. Connor Yateman, his brother, made me some hot chips earlier. That was nice of him. And Nico says, Yonezawa with the Yon bomb. I like that comment as well. And Kyle Williams, all the way from North Dakota, where he's coaching over at Community College right now. He's a West Torrens alum, or still part of the West Torrens club, so great to see Kyle Williams tuning in as well. So a lot of people in the South Australian family, and I like that. James, keep doing that. Give me the YouTube comments so we can shout out where people are watching from. Don't forget to tell us where you are tuning in from. And you know what, while we're at it, if you're telling us where you're tuning in from, tell us about what your most memorable Division I grand final was in the baseball South Australia competition. This one brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Crazy stat that Rob Laidlaw gave us yesterday, that only one team since 2004 has gone on to win a grand final after losing game 1, and that was Goodwood in 2018. If you win game 1, you win the grand final. It's almost an automatic in this competition. Yeah,
you're exactly right. I mean, most teams, just with the way that the regular season schedule is set up, you play a Tuesday twilight and then a weekend game. So most teams are set up to play 2 games in a week. And for a 3-game series, when you're the team that wins, you have that luxury of handling your pitching staff. Whereas if you're the team that loses game 1, you got to go full tilt. So their main focus is playing game 2. And when you get into a game 3 situation, you usually don't have the depth to kind of respond. And that's where I think a lot of the game 1 winners have decided the series, just with having the depth and the flexibility to have another game up their sleeve.
This a 9-4 game, and it was 5-0 before an out was even recorded in the first inning. West Torrens worked a couple walks, had a couple key hits, a lucky bounce off a pitcher, and it was 8-0 when it was all said and done in the first inning. That middle of the lineup for Henley&Grange pegged a couple back in the first to make it 8-2. Home runs from Yonezawa and Garbella have accounted for runs 3 and 4, but a throwing error scored Tom McGarry, who's reached 11 out of 12 times to make it 9-4. We're now in the 4th inning. Nico Vanderlinde and Mitch Newenborn, Jacob Scott due up. Eric Ballnar and Austin Gallagher calling this game to people all over the world, but great to see so many connections to the Baseball SA community tuning in from this, whether it be from Europe. I'm sure there's a few people that play, in Europe.
Yeah, it's pretty special. It's pretty special. And even someone like Wilson Lee, who played for Henley&Grange last year, who's now the manager of Vaughan, is probably keeping a close eye on this one as well. So it's good to see baseball and how far stretched the international community does go.
How's Wilson Lee's German?
It's been a little bit better. But, he's got an exciting opportunity over there to coach the reigning champions of the German Bundesliga. And
which he's been a big part of for the last while.
He has.
Played first base this year for the German national team when they tried to get through the qualifiers in Regensburg earlier this year.
He did.
Few connections all over the place. Simon Wilson has a ball fouled away. What a job he's come in and done. He's now working into his 3rd inning. I don't know if he's got an earned run.
No earned runs.
Grounded over to Yanazawa. We'll see how the grip is. No problems for Koki.
Good play. And look, once again, Willow coming in for his 3rd inning of work has just completely done the job. He's filling up the strike zone, letting the fielders make the plays. And like I said, 3rd baseman, shortstop, 2nd baseman on Team of the Year, and then obviously your 1st baseman, Team of the Year pitcher. So why not let them work?
Mitch Newenborn recently signed with the Philadelphia Phillies as a pitcher. He might be available for an inning in this game today. And you'd have to pick your spot and your timing because he's the DH. And once you use him as a pitcher, well, then now you have to have your pitcher hit the rest of the way. No problem for Newenborn, but you'd imagine late in the game in a high-leverage situation is when you'd want to use that bullet.
Look, I think for Bones and West Torrens, this is an ideal situation because you do know that. And with a lead, your thought right now is Mitch has got the 9th inning, if he's able to do that. And if you can hold that lead, that's pretty much shortening the ball game with having Newenborn in the back end of that. And obviously it's going to depend on what his pitch count is with the Phillies and what he's capable of doing. But you're talking about not only in the SABL, but one of the best pitchers in Australia right now.
Well, how was his year last year when he allowed just the 1 earned run, or the 2 earned runs, I think it was, the 0.19 ERA? Maybe the easiest decision for whoever names the pitcher of the year.
Yeah, and the funny thing was both of those earned runs were off of fellow Giants teammates. So I think it was either Rickson or Jordy who hit.
At Sturt, yeah, it was
Sturt
a couple
hit the runs.
Yeah.
So, and that was it. He was just dominating. And the crazy thing is his stuff has actually improved, and he's got more pitches and his velocity is up. And it's hard to imagine what he would have done this year if he would have had a full season playing club ball.
It'll be interesting to see where the Phillies end up placing him. I mean, you normally when you're a 18, 19, 20-year-old, whether you be from Australia or anywhere else, they like to have you either in rookie ball or in low A, no matter what that upside talent is. But Newenborn, who grounds out over towards Yanazawa across the diamond, makes the play. But Newenborn, he's approaching 25 years old by the time he'll turn that in the middle of the season. A little bit older. He's got a few seasons of professional experience in the ABL. It might be a little bit different from it. It'll be curious to see how they approach Mitch Newenborn.
Well, that's the thing with Mitch. I mean, he made the transition this past year to the bullpen, and all credit to the Giants and Chris Adamson for putting him in that role because it really showcased his stuff. And he had a very successful ABL season, and then it transferred over with like I said, I think it was a 38% whiff rate in the WBC. So from that standpoint, his opportunity, I think he'll get a good opportunity to see where the Phillies want to utilize him. And, in a high leverage situation, I think he can be that guy for sure.
Jacob Scott up to bat. He is 0 for 1 on the day. He was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. That brought in a run. Nine runs on the board, but only 6 players have RBIs. A couple runs have scored because of throwing errors. Another run off a hit by pitch that counts as an RBI. And again, it was very much like this in the women's game too, where people were getting on base because command, whether it be pitcher or in the field, was really difficult to do. But that game was close as well until it wasn't late when Carly Moore started to hit near bombs off the wall, and Ashley George was running wild.
She was. I think Carly would have had a chance for a homer in that game. Just unfortunately snuck under the wall, and Ash maybe 2 if she would have ran through the stop sign, but followed the third base coach's rules. But yeah, that was a good game. A lot of talent on display there.
Sawada will step in. Mesakaya Sawada only had 2 plate appearances in the entire season, and now he's stepping in Game 3. And West Torrens, they were 5-6-2 just 2 games after the Christmas break. They dropped their first 2 after the break. They were sitting below 500 and outside the 6 in the finals race. But then enter Sawada, who joined the team, Japanese player, and since then they are now 20-3. They stormed up the table and they swept their way through the finals to get here, used as a pitcher and sort of that stopgap jack of all trades position, but there's no coincidence, I think, that that is when the season turned around. Not that he makes the team, he just unlocks a lot of combinations.
He does, and that's the difference between the first half of the year and the second half of the year. When in the first half of the year, you're playing 1 game a weekend and you don't have an import, and then second half of the season, you've got multiple games and you add depth, and that's a testament to West Torrens. I mean, their game is playing good fundamental baseball, having good depth, and having very good coaching. And when you add a piece like that and the success that he had, that's a recipe for success. And he's been a major impact and big influence for their club.
It's been like that the last few years. I mean, in this competition on any given Tuesday or Saturday, pretty much any team can beat everybody. But when depth gets tested, as he takes a pitch on the inside, oh, it's called a first strike. When depth gets tested, they do answer with full marks. They bat 1 to 9. They have players that can play multiple positions. They've got 4 or 5 different pitchers that they can use. When they want to play the marathon game, West Torrens will take you over the season or in a 3-game series. This grounded over to Garbella. He'll fire in a safe inning for Henley&Grange defensively.
Yeah, good inning by Willow right there. He did his job. He's keeping him in bay. And look, another, still hasn't allowed any earned runs and turning it over. And Henley's just got to keep chipping away here. And, for West Torrens, it's big to try to shut down their lineup. And I guess from Hardy's perspective, it's see how long Willow can go.
What's his line right now up to Willow? He's got, 3 1/3, no earned runs.
Yeah, a couple walks, no strikeouts, but 2 hits, 1 run, 0 earned. I mean, he's come in and he's done a stellar job.
People watching from Denmark, Tim Day watching from Cairo, Egypt, cheering on the Eags. There's people from literally, have we hit the continents now? So we've got Cairo, Egypt, we've got, who's watching from Europe? Has anyone said they're watching from Europe yet?
I think we did. Well, you said Denmark.
Anyone watching from Africa? No, Denmark, WA.
Oh, Denmark, WA, gotcha, okay.
I see where you get
Close.
confused, though. Yeah, I want to see if we can nail all the continents. I mean, Australia we've got North America, we've got Egypt. I mean, let's see how many people say where they're watching from. We'll figure it out from there. Either way, we now head to the bottom of the 4th inning. A 9-4 game, and somehow the Rams, after falling behind 8-0 early, have just stayed alive in this game, and they can score a couple here. At what point, if you're West Torrens, you think, oh no, you're almost in the mindset, we've got this thing won, it's going to be a cruise control game, and then the panic can set in. That's what or Henley&Grange would want to do this inning.
Yeah, 100%. And they've got 7, 8, 9 coming up in the lineup. And look, this is a big determining inning because, where Nate's at right now, he's started to get his changeup. He's starting to work his command. So if he can have a good inning right here, he's going to allow West Torrens to breathe, a sigh of relief. And I guess the question is, how long is Nate going to go for them?
Well, that is a big question. He can legally, by the binding rules of the State League brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies, he can go 125 pitches in a game or finish the at-bat after that. Jet Clohessy grounded out in his first at-bat, 3 for 3 last night. 7, 8, 9. Similar to what we talked about in the first inning, can they just get a runner or two on turn it over and give a base runner up the middle. A nice snag from Vanderlinden, 1 down.
Great job by Nate right there. And you can see the whole pitch arsenal coming into effect there. Goes first pitch fastball, second pitch changeup, and then back-to-back breaking balls to get him a comebacker, and stayed composed and was able to make the play.
Luke Travaskis up to bat. Same with Simon Wilson. The question is, how deep will he go? He's given, I mean, I wasn't expecting Simon Wilson to pitch 3 1/3, let alone 3 1/3 shutout so far. Travaskis tags one. This off to left field. George having a look, and that's bounced off the wall. Travaskis standing up on 2. It's a double for the lifelong Ram, Luke Travaskis.
That ball was absolutely hammered. Well done, Luke. That ball was smoked. But to his credit, I mean, he came in, and being a bottom of the order guy, it's, you know, you look to either take pitches or work long at bats, but he jumped all over that fastball, and that ball was absolutely destroyed. That ball's gone at both West Torrens and Henley&Grange for sure.
Phil Acosta tried to lay down the bunt the last at bat. Vanderlinden just trying to keep Travaskis in check. Down by 5 right now. Can they get this game slammable by the end of this inning?
Big hitter right here. Look, Philly, you're going to get an opportunity with, you know, with Koki and hopefully pass the baton to Pardo. But if they can keep chipping away, it's going to be a lot more pressure situation for West Torrens.
Acosta under it just a little too much.
No man's land.
But charging on is Jasper Clark to make the out. They'll turn it over to face Vanderlinden for the 3rd time, and Koki Yanazawa, he's got a home run already. He's off to Europe. Maybe his team in Europe is watching him right now in Austria.
Yeah, and I messed it up yesterday. I said Tom Bell is Dingabell. So Dingabell, who came over when he was at Henley, was fortunate enough to go over to Wiener Neustadt in Austria for the Diving Ducks, and that connection has brought him over. And anytime you can get guys to play year-round, it's awesome to grow the sport and grow the talent level out here in SA.
Pitch on the outside for Yanazawa. 2 of the next 3 batters due up for Henley&Grange have hit home runs over that right field wall today. Grounded along the first base line. That goes foul. It's not particularly windy out there today, so it is possible. It's a little heavier. There's some moisture in the air, but there is some home runs to be had.
Yeah, there is. And a day like today, it's actually a little bit easier to go out to right. As you can see, those 2 balls that Bones hit held up a little bit more, but both balls that were hit to right are gone anywhere. So Kogi just missed that one. Just got out front of that changeup a little bit, but they're looking for another big hit in this situation.
Yanazawa on the team of the year this season for his tremendous play over at shortstop. Had to move over there. Darcy Berry was at shortstop last year. He had a tremendous season. Basnoy was catching. Wilson Lee was playing. 3 key players of the Rams departed the club, but it was young players like Jet Clohesi, Luke Travaskis that had to fill the role, and Koki Yanazawa, one of them.
And that's the best part about it, is that they're now in a grand final with their juniors that have came up to win them games, and they fit in amazingly. And you know, that's the thing, is obviously there's a lot of good superstars in that lineup, but to do it with your homegrown talent, you know, it just goes to show the depth and the organization that Henley does have.
Yanazawa will step in once again. Yanazawa originally came to Australia to go to Seton High School. They've got a baseball program there. Swing and a miss, a big strikeout from Nate Vanderlinden, and it's the first inning that Henley&Grange haven't scored. West Torrens preserve the 5-run lead as we approach the midway point. We've played 4. West Torrens 9, Henley&Grange 4. We'll be back.
Oceanic is a family-owned and operated restaurant and event space down at West Beach. We came together always knowing that we wanted to do something with family, and here we are, focusing very heavily on sustainable and fresh produce, and we're very proud of that.
Our point of difference is genuine hospitality and passion for what we do. We truly love and believe in what we do and enjoy delivering fantastic service to our customers. And we recently were awarded with 2 awards, Best Breakfast Restaurant in Adelaide and Best Contemporary Informal Dining in Adelaide, which we're thrilled to receive.
We pride ourselves on giving people an experience from the moment they walk in the door. So we're a family business, and everybody that comes through the door is entering our family.
Be sure to check our website www.oceanic.com.au for our new opening hours and to make bookings in regards to the restaurant and functions.
Back at the ballpark. It is a 9-4 game. It was an 8-0 lead at one point for West Torrens. They had scored 4 runs. It was my mistake. I said 5 earlier before a first out was even recorded. And Henley&Grange have tried to get themselves back in the ball game, but that's a tough way to fall behind when your opponent has an 8-0 head start. Home runs to Garbella, home runs to Yanazawa. It's been an entertaining game, but there's been a lot of pressure on this man on the mound in Simon Wilson, who's come in. He's thrown 3 1/3. He's allowed a couple unearned runs. One of them was Jordy Hodges' run. Another one of those was off of a throwing error. So, I mean, Simon Wilson has given everything they wanted to and more, but it's going to get a little bit tricky. How about this? Jared Carr watching the game from spring training, watching a few of his teammates, including a future teammate again in Mitch Newenborn. So a big shout out to Jared Carr. Jordan McCardle, I've heard of him. He did a good championship series.
He did. He did. The captain with the MVP, man. He was on fire. And, you know, it was awesome to have the Giants bring the title home, and was a major, major factor. And you love to see a local boy stepping up for the ABL team.
And Rob Hernandez watching from the States. That's Landon's father, but also commentator extraordinaire Mason Hernandez, who stepped into the broadcast booth on Friday night. He got in on the action as well. So great to see the baseball family get in there. Love that even past imports of the Giants tuning into the broadcast. You saw a lot of that, guys. Guys like Jared Carr really did embrace that Adelaide baseball lifestyle and community. Saw a couple of the boys go down to a Sturt game earlier in the year, cheer on Rickson and Jordy. It was cool to see.
It was it was such a great atmosphere this year. The imports, all the players were bought in, and man, that just coming out to the games was just electric, and you know, you were rooting for him every pitch.
Jasper Clark trying to lead things off. Really important at bat here as he goes aboard, and that's going to set it up for the meat of that West Torrens order, and Nick George, Tom McGarry, and Sam McGarry. None of them have got out. 9 plate appearances so far for George, McGarry, and McGarry, and Henley&Grange haven't been able to retire any of them yet.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And with Willow being about 65 pitches in and probably not throwing this many throughout the year, you wonder how fatigue is for him at this stage. So it's going to be important to see how Wilson attacks these next 2 batters to see if he still has his command. And, you know, what is West Torrens going to do? They're going to try to bunt. They're going to try to run. And, you know, their style of baseball is always pushing for that next run, whether it's manufacturing or small ball, moving the guys around. So
Jasper Clark sliding back in. He can go as well. Scored a couple runs last night. There he goes. Weber taking him on. There's the throw. Garbella the tag, and he slides in safe. Runner in scoring position for the Eagles.
And good throw by Griff right there. That was a tough pitch to handle low and away, but quick tag almost got him, but speed was too fast for Jasper there.
Tough to throw in this rain. I'd just be running wild if you've got even marginal speed. I'm sending you.
Yeah, 100%. And I would be looking for the bunt right here if I was George. I mean, even a routine sacrifice isn't a given play or an out right here, but you never know what's up their sleeve.
The Georges can fly. I like that pitch.
That is.
Misses it, but 1-1 count.
Oh, 1-2. That's why it's not bunting.
Fouled away. And it is in foul territory. Through the mud is Hernandez over the shoulder. Tyrone Hamley made a great catch up against the fence earlier, and now Another one of the captains of the Rams and the first baseman, Landon Hernandez, goes over the shoulder.
And that one's actually even harder. He's going away from his body, not knowing if the runner's going to tag up, and running through the puddle and not knowing where the fence is. So.
And the tarp.
And the tarp, too. So, great play by Landon.
Well, can they get Tom McGarry out? 2 for 3, 2 walks and RBI in game 1. 0 for 4 walks in game 2. 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a walk in game 3. 7 walks, 4 hits, an unbelievable case. I mean, we need to see some comments at some point, too, about who you think should be MVP. And obviously the game's not over yet. There's a lot of twists to come, but McGarry's making a pretty good case. I think.
Yeah, he is. And on top of that, look, you would say yesterday, base open in this situation with 1 out, but Sam McGarry, 2 hits behind him, and he's been used in all parts of the field. So that's another tough decision, but with Tom up there and the way that he's swinging the bat, you're probably not letting something right down the middle.
I mean, the McGarrys have been heaving. They've been limping a little bit. Do you consider walking them and try to get the double play to get out of the inning, knowing that you wouldn't have too much speed the way that they're feeling right now?
Well, 2-0 count with 1 out. I mean, probably in this situation, it's one of those.
Or do you save your intentional base for later and you just pitch a few on the outside and nibble the edges and try to...
Yeah, I think you're trying to nibble the edges. Right here, as a pitcher, you're trying to go corner or ball. You're just trying to not let anything over the middle of the plate.
Well, it'll hit him. So, again, it's now 13 plate appearances, and he's been on base 12 times this weekend.
That's amazing.
It's been 48 hours and like 18 innings since anyone's got Tom McGarry out.
That's incredible. But, you know, that's what baseball's all about. And in the final series for both teams, you have a lot of star players that are shining this entire series, and that's great. That's what's been great, is that everybody's stepped up in some kind of way for their team.
Don't mind that he's on first base now. Like I was saying earlier, it does open up a double play ball. Sam McGarry, he's reached 3 times, 2 hits, and he reached on an error. He's got an RBI.
Good pitch there by Willow. Fastball in for a strike, goes back to our breaking ball. He's working quick, he's feeling confident, so looking for the strikeout or the double play right here.
Up the middle, ground ball. Garbella, good trap, and he couldn't make the transfer. And for the 7th inning of this series, West Torrens have loaded the bases. This will be their 13th or 14th at bat this weekend with bases loaded.
Yep. And another good piece of hitting by Sam, but almost an ESPN play by Gio right there. And I like the idea. If he would have been able to transfer that, they might have had a chance at a double play. But look, for him to even get to that ball saves a run, and there's not much you can do. But that was an outstanding play by Gio and almost got the force out there at second.
Well, this moment might be the season for Henley&Grange right now. They're only down 5 runs. It's a bit of a weird day. A lot of funky things are happening. So you feel like getting to that 10 for Henley&Grange isn't out of the question. But if West Torrens pile a few more on, it becomes challenging. And Tyrone Hambley's seen the ball really well today. He had the fly out to deep center field that Jack Partington had to make a great play to range and grab it. The line out over towards Travaskis, and Simon Wilson started the day off by winning the anthem standoff, but what a performance from him. The book not closed on his stat line yet, but my goodness, they got more than they asked for from him.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Eric. And I mean, he's played all divisions. He's pitched a little bit, but to come in the grand final and to do what he did, that's exactly what Henley&Grange needed. He gave him 3 2/3 innings, and you know he's competed his butt off, and he set them up to allow them to have a chance to compete here for the rest of the game. And you know that's a lot of heart by Willow to go out there and do what he did.
Well, Ethan Kelsey is coming into the game for him, but he's going to swap right to second base. Kelsey played in the Division II Grand Final yesterday for Henley&Grange, but moving on to the mound is Giovanni Garbella. We sort of expected this at some stage today. He has thrown 10 innings this season, 10 1/3 to be exact, giving up 8 hits, no earned runs, but he has allowed 2. He struck out 17 in his 10 innings pitched. So Garbella is being used, and he hasn't allowed an earned run yet.
No, that's some good success. And like we were talking about, a lot of those innings came in that January where we had Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday games and, filling in for some guys as they were away. But this is a tough situation to come in right now, bases loaded, one out. But same thing with Gio. All you got to do is try to fill it up and get ahead so that you can try to get to that off-speed stuff.
Certainly a good piece to the puzzle, Garbella of the Henley&Grange Rams, which have had so many players come through the system. Even in this lineup, look at it, Clohessy, lifetime Ram, Travaskis, lifetime Ram, Liam Bull, lifetime Ram, and then Koki Yanazawa they got as a junior when he came over. He's been through the system, so now there's another change. Is it Jet Clohessy coming out there?
Yeah, it looks like Clohessy's going out to right.
And Acosta out.
Yep. So Kelsey would be going in for Acosta. Double switch.
Yeah. Or no, Kelsey. So yeah, it would be the DH becomes the pitcher. So Clohessy becomes the pitcher, and then Kelsey comes in for Acosta and then makes the switch to pitcher. Yeah. So Tyrone Hambley, what a big-time name this has been for the club for a while, a player that's played Division I baseball with some pretty big numbers, actually, when he was over at Oklahoma State playing at the NCAA. Came back and has been a mainstay in the coaching ranks of South Australia and also with West Torrens. Takes a pitch on the outside. The leader of the West Torrens Baseball Club.
Bones loves early count fastballs. This is a big pitch right here. Oof.
He was looking for it.
That was it. Just missed it. Just a little bit down for him.
1-1 count. Huge moment in the game. Hambley jammed a bit. It's going towards center field. Partington charging on. He can't get to that one. One run is scored. It's now 10-4. Second hit of the day for Tyrone Hambley. Fifth of the weekend. And it's now 10-4.
And the two balls that he barrel are outs, and the one that he gets jammed on gets the job done. So good piece of hitting. All three balls hit to left center. And for Henley, unfortunately, Pardo couldn't get to that one.
Nico Vanderlinden up to bat. He had a big RBI single that scored 2 runs in the first inning. And bases loaded again for West Torrens, like they have been all weekend. This time they're coming around, though. Still looking for that double play ball. Swing and a miss. Garbella ranges back and throws a fastball. Allowing one run is okay. You almost expect a run here and there from West Torrens, but it's a big inning that Henley need to avoid. And Garbella quickly ahead 0-2.
And that's been the story of the weekend is West Torrens, whether they were or they weren't hitting with the bases loaded, and today they definitely are.
Out into foul territory. Clohessy having a look. That goes into a great catch in the outfield. Look at that. Over in the bar area. A few of the lower grade Rams boys getting out there. That's a good catch. I don't know if we'll get that on replay. That was great. Vanderlinden grounds one away foul once again, so hanging tough in the at-bat. Garbella is tough as they come. He played a few games this year for the Canberra Cavalry. New York Boulders in the Frontier League, 4 years at Valparaiso. Grounded up the middle. They're going to get the force out at home for one. Down the line for two, a massive double play. And for the 6th time this weekend, West Torrens have left the bases loaded.
Wow, that's a huge play for Henley right there. To come out of that inning with only allowing 1 run was massive. That was massive. Good heads-up play by Gio, who only has thrown a couple innings to go home with that and secure the easy 1-2 to 3 double play.
A 1-2-3 double play. Doesn't happen often, but man, I can't believe that 6 times they've left the bases loaded. 6.
A lot of RBI chances there.
Wow. And they're going to go for a bit more work on the ground. The chief grounds crew, Andrew Scott, getting out there. This is just like on the patch repairs right now. You just take whatever sand you can find, whatever dirt you can find, fill in some holes. Yang getting in on the action behind home plate. Ozzie McClure out at the plate. Now even some of the players from West Torrens are getting there. This is a battle today for even the grounds crew.
Yeah, it is. They've done a great job to keep it playable.
It's 2 games today.
Yeah.
But it had to weather through. Well, it is a 10-4 game right now. It was an 8-0 lead to start it off. Eric Ballner, Austin Gallagher on the call. But the 8 runs, I mean, that was they kind of came out of the gates. It was a walk, hit to McGarry, hit to Hambley, hit to Vanderlinden, hit to Newenborn, hit by pitch to Jacob Scott, couple outs, and then a hit to George, hit to McGarry, hit to McGarry, and it was 6 hits, 8 runs. And before the Rams even saw their first pitch of the game, they were down 8-0. Since then, they've won it 4-2. Still lots of time, but this game will get late fast. Rams were lucky almost not to allow more than 1 run in that bases-loaded situation. Now, how can they respond?
Yeah, you're 100% right. Anytime you get the bases loaded with less than 2 outs, you're just trying to come out of there with 1 run, and that's exactly what they did. And look, 6 runs is really not that much. Biggest thing for Henley is just seeing who's next. And, you know, we're just wondering how long Nate can go. And, you know, his experience on the mound, like I said, early on I think he was throwing a lot of fastballs, and now he started to get that changeup and find his command with his off-speed stuff. So look for him to go back to that and try to keep Henley hitters off balance.
Well, from a West Torrens perspective, earlier in the game, you had that big lead. You're saying, oh, man, rain's here. We got to make sure we get these innings in, do everything we can. Now, after these next 3 outs, it's like, you know what? If the field isn't, yeah, we can call it. You know, it's okay. Just give it. I don't think that will be the situation at all. Radar, and you look over to the west of us, looks a bit more clear, so I'm not too sure how grim it's looking. I think we should be okay the rest of the afternoon, perhaps. Try to pull up the weather radar.
Yeah, it doesn't look too heavy. It looks pretty consistent, but hopefully it just stays south of us.
It's been consistent all day, but it hasn't been overly heavy at any time. Now Nate Vanderlinden comes back out there. There's a massive band whipping through right now, but it looks a little bit south of us. There's some coming, though, Gally.
Extras will be dangerous if we get there.
My goodness. If you are watching at home, I would advise you to not look at the weather radar if you want to feel optimistic. But it is, I mean, the band is really a bad day to be on KI if you don't like rain. But it's gonna be, we're gonna be flirting. We're gonna be flirting with some rain.
Bit dicey.
Don't know if they're gonna be willing to dance, but you know, a little bit of flirtation will be underway. Big spot in the lineup here, though. They're down 6 runs. Anytime you have an opportunity with this big 4 of Henley&Grange up, you've got to take advantage. Partington, Garbella, and Hernandez due up, and you'd think the 3rd time through versus Vanderlinden scoring runs is almost mandatory in this inning. Not a must score, a mandatory score.
Definitely. Because both sides know that you got Mitch Newenborn lurking down in the bullpen at some stage you'd expect.
Swing and a miss. No movement in the bullpen right now. I imagine next off the rank would be Koki Yanazawa in sort of a straight swap. This is where you see the depth of the club being tested, right? Ethan Kelsey, Simon Wilson have had to come in here. These are what these 3-game series are built for, to determine the best team, is how deep are your teams. And if you want to look at the Division II players, well, both these teams played each other yesterday in the Division II final too.
Correct, and that's you know, what makes this game 3 even harder is you're right. Both of them were facing off in yesterday's competition, so it's a matter of who's available today and, what's left as it goes down to the wire.
I mean, you're a Division I coach. You look right now in the field, you've got 9 players in blue for West Torrens out on the field as Vander Linden delivers the full count pitch. Partington's aboard. But look at the dugout of West Torrens. There's like 15 players in there, maybe even 20. You don't see that on a Tuesday night in the middle of the season. When you have 9 players on the field, how many players do you normally have in your dugout?
Yeah, a couple of under 17s guys, but whoever can make it out. And look, depth is massive, and that's why both teams are here. Both clubs have the depth, and that's why they were playing in both Division I and Division II Grand Finals.
Partington aboard, but Giovanni Garbella, 12 plate appearances, 11 times on base so far. He is 5 for 6 with 5 walks, a home run, and 4 RBIs. Jack Partington having a really good tournament as well this weekend and all finals long. Massive moment in the game. Vander Linden has to be careful knowing that it's been a single and a home run off of him today to this man Garbella.
Yeah, it has. And he went opposite field home run with the fastball, and he just saw Vander Linden's changeup inside, so he's got his repertoire. He can come up with a big swing here. That'll be big for Henley&Grange.
Partington, you don't want to be too aggressive on the base pass here. You don't want to take a potential score off the bases because he can fly around the diamond.
Yeah, he can. And footing is also a factor too, so it's always a risk when you're stealing, and look for him to hold him close, and there he goes.
Hit and run was obviously on, which is probably the right call.
Yeah.
Going to be tough to throw any runner out today.
Yeah, it will. Like I said, footing is definitely tough today, but that goes the same for the pitcher and the catcher. So executing a clean throw down to the bag is always tough. But when you do run in this situation, you're always at risk for a double play because if Gio hits a line drive at a fielder, there's 2 outs right there on the board.
Partington going. They're going to take him on. Partington slides in safe, and it's a runner in scoring position.
Change up down. Pardo just had a good jump. I mean, that's, like I said, that's a tough pitch to throw. Obviously off speed that's lower in the zone, and elite speed on the base pass. Didn't really have a chance, but Tom right on the money.
Stole more bases than anybody this year, Jack Partington. And was sort of toying with Vander Linden, standing on second as well.
Big pitch right here.
2-2 to Garbella, the Triple Crown winner. Hangs on. He thought about it. Full count coming.
I'm going with that changeup again.
Go with your best pitch?
Yeah, just missed it.
Runner is going. Garbella pokes one up the middle. He's hustling to the line. McGarry with the throw. What a stretch from Tyrone Hambley to make the play.
That's a great play right there by Sammy. And look, Pardo had a good jump right there. He was going, he was stealing on that play, and a bobble on a transfer, that could have been another run, but in hindsight, still moved the runner over, so they got to capitalize on trying to score a run here and cut that lead, but pass the baton, and, good battle right there between the pitcher and hitter.
Landon Hernandez up to bat. He's been in Australia for over a decade now. First came over as an import with Golden Grove in Central Districts. Won the Player of the Year at that club for a couple seasons. He transferred around a little bit, but found a home at Henley&Grange for sure. He's been there the last 5 years, and he was that first piece of the puzzle that Henley landed in a big transfer to help build around. He hits one up the middle. Partington bolting for home. He will score. So job done for Hernandez. It's his second RBI of the game. He does ground out. Bases are now clear, but Henley get the run back that they conceded in their pitching half of the fifth.
They do, and that's where speed got them a run. Obviously, for both sides, that's a win. West Torrens are shortening the game, but you just got to keep chipping away if you're Henley.
Henley just hanging tough. They've scored in every inning but one since going down 8-0.
They are, and they're still playing their style of game offensively. It's just a matter of, they just need that big inning, and Nate's been able to just stay consistent, and he's been competing this whole ball game.
Yeah, that is what Nate Vanderlinden has done very well. Is yes, he's allowed 5 runs, 2 of them off home runs, but first inning they were threatening for a big inning. They had runners on first and second, 1 out and 2 runs across the board. He got out of the jam. Just the 1 home run to Yanazawa in the second, a home run to Garbella in the third, and now scoring because of base running in the 5th. He has taken away any opportunity of a massive inning and dent. And that's okay from Vanderlinden. He knows that he's got an 8-run cushion to start. And he gets a big strikeout to end the 5th.
Huge pitch right there. And that's Nate's job. Look, he's made him earn it, though, and that's the thing. Only 1 walk, and the defense has backed it up behind him. And look, that seems to be the difference in today's ball game. So
we've played 5. Henley trail by 5. West Torrens trying to storm home in the back half. We'll be back after this.
Hi guys, I'm Jez and this is Mark from Peak 24. If you're looking to get fitter, stronger, healthier, give us a call and come see us at
149 Marion Road, Richmond, or you can see us on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll get back to you real soon, or via our website, peak24.com.au. Hope to see you soon.
Runs on the board for the West Torrens Eagles, but honestly it could be a couple more. They left 2 on in the second, or 2 on in the first, even though they scored 8 runs. 2 on in the third, 1 on in the second, so that's 5 left on base. Another 1 left on in the fourth. 6. They've left 9 runners on base in this game, and they've scored 10 runs. Last night they left 12 on base. So they've left 31 runners on base in the 3 games so far. They've scored a lot too, but they've left bases loaded 6 times. Yeah, West Torrens are in front. They're in pole position to win this flag, but man, it could have been more, Austin Gallagher.
yeah, you could always say what if, but look, they're getting the runners on, and today they've been manufactured and getting them in, but you'd love to always be that hitter in the situation that has runners on base.
Mitch Newenborn takes the first pitch from Giovanni Garbella. And look, anytime you have more runs than hits, you'll take it. And they've got 10 runs. They've only had 8 hits. A bit of a wacky one. Newenborn takes another pitch. He hit that opposite field home run in game number 1. Newenborn today is 1 for 2. He grounded out, had a single, and walked. He scored in the first. Probably important that Henley&Grange get that quick inning as well to stop the opportunity of the dangerous West Torrens top of the lineup to have a crack at it with runners in scoring position. Under it too much for Newenborn. Hernandez now going to have to fight through the puddle and the mud. That's an awkward one, knowing that that's there.
Yeah, that is, and especially looking right up into the rain isn't easy either. But Landon kept his composure and was able to make the out. But those are never easy, especially here at West Beach when that circling wind. But yeah, stayed with it. Big first out to get the leadoff guy.
Just the 3rd time here in the 6th inning that they've got the leadoff runner down. Jacob Scott up to bat. He's had a hit by pitch. He's walked, so he's been on base 2 times. Last night, the bottom of the lineup for West Torrens. Didn't quite get it going, but today another jam shot. Partington and moved in and makes the grab. 2 quick hits out from Garbella. I was just about to say, last night, the bottom of the lineup didn't quite produce the way they wanted it to, but tonight already they've been on base a combined 6 times. They've scored a combined 3 runs. A much better job from the bottom of that Eagles lineup today.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and that's big. I mean, you expect the top half of both lineups to get on and to score, but it's really what 7, 8, 9 can do. And in championship series like that, it's what the 7, 8, 9 in the bottom half of the order, if they're able to get on base, it gives those top half guys chances to drive guys in as opposed to just setting the table.
Sawada swings at a fast pitch up. And fouls one away, and Garbella very quickly could work himself into, I mean, this is just going to be his 7th pitch this inning. If he could get it out here, that's a big quick inning for Henley&Grange.
And he seems very comfortable out there. He's filling up the zone, and his fastball's gaining up there in velocity too.
Fouled into territory. I mean, for Henley&Grange, they've been staying in touch. They just haven't been able to get within striking distance.
Yep, and that's the thing. They've just been chipping away. And for them offensively, they haven't yet had that big inning, and that's all that they need is just one big inning here, and they're within a couple runs away from tying up this ball game.
Grounded to Yonezawa across the diamond. He makes the play, and for the first time today, Henley&Grange get a 1-2-3 inning. Nate Vanderlinden, take a look at this where he's been going here. In the 3rd inning, leadoff home run, 1-2-3 inning. In the 5th inning, the leadoff walk they later scored, but other than that, a 1-2-3 inning. Retired 3 in a row at one point in the first. Vanderlinden hasn't allowed anything to compound at all. He ran into risk of that when he came into the rain after sitting for 35 minutes in the 1st inning, but after that, it's been smooth sailing.
You're right, and that's the difference in the ball game, and you and Dunny talk about it all the time. It's the free bases, and defensively for West Torrens, no errors defensively, and Nate only 1 free base given up. And for Henley, a couple errors defensively and a couple free passes could be the difference in this ball game. But there's still a lot of game to play. And like we said, Henley, they're a scary lineup, and they can always at any time put up a big inning offensively. So as long as they keep chipping away and wait for that big inning to come, they're still in threat of closing this gap very soon.
It's a good point. Vanderlinden 1 walk and no errors, and on the other side, Henley&Grange have combined to walk 6 batters, hit another 2 batters, and they've made 2 errors in the field. The free base count is about 10-1, and that is why it's a 10-5 margin. By the way, also in the 5 innings, only 75 pitches thrown here from Nathan Vanderlinden. And look down the right field line, Austin Gallagher, who was just warming up and throwing and trying to get a little bit loose, was Jack Partington. Wonder if he'll be the next one off the rank for Henley&Grange.
I think if it gets close, you'd expect Pardo, whether it's a tie or a save situation, but Gio's been grooving so far.
First pitch swing, and now it's 76 pitches. But how about Tyrone Hambley at first? Has had to stretch out a lot today.
Yeah, big pick right there. And that's a huge out for Nate, not only to get the lead off, but 1 pitch, 1 out, saving his pitch count, keep it rolling.
Jet Clohessy coming up to bat. Blake Halligan, I think he's just getting some new balls over in the dugout, perhaps. Jet Clohessy, 0 for 2 today after going 3 for 3 yesterday. Yeah, Vanderlinden, this has just been a good game of him battling. That's really what it's been. And you've had to battle so much. A tough batting lineup, the rain, the opposition, but that free base count really is the difference maker.
And that's Nate just sticking with a plan and being an experienced pitcher in these situations. He knows what he has to do. He's pitching with the lead. He's throwing strikes, and he's been beat by the long ball, but it hasn't been with anybody on base. So all of the runs that Henley scored, they've earned, and West Torrens has earned some runs, but they've also got some unearned as well. So that's why they're in top.
Comes back with a strike. It's a 1-2 count to Clohessy. fouled away. The kid stays alive.
Good pitch, good fight. And that's what's made Nate so effective is he's now settled in and he's getting his fastball in and out located. His breaking ball is in effect, and his changeup, his go-to pitch is really starting to shine.
Through the slips for 4 for Jet Clohessy. It's a 1-2 count.
So you'd expect after that high fastball with that check swing for him to go back to that changeup in the dirt to try to get Jet to chase right here.
Down low, doesn't chase. Just 1 for a combined 8 or 9 today, rather, for that bottom of the Henley&Grange lineup. Travascus had the double, but they'll be looking for a spark from those bottom 4 at some point in this game.
And a quality at bat right here for Jet. He's battling his butt off, and you know, he's looking to get on base, but he's fought off a lot of tough pitches, and for a young kid, he's truly a competitor.
Knocked to left field, it just goes foul. That was almost a double down the line. Now he got into a tricky situation, and now it's a 2-2 count. Ball's being fouled away from Clohessy after allowing a 1-pitch, 1-out start to this inning. He's got himself in making Van der Linden work for it a little bit.
Still fighting.
Just like Henley have done all season and all game. They scored in all but 1 inning, but just a 2-1, 1-0, and 1 mark. It's a busy scoreboard if you take a look at it down in right field. Full count to Clohessy.
What an at-bat. What an at-bat. He's had great at-bats all series, and he's fought off some tough pitches, pulled some, went the other way, so big pitch right here, and wow. What an at-bat by Jet. Look, in that situation, that walk's almost better than a hit. Look, he's got Nate's pitch count up. He made him work. He had to throw all of his pitches, and for a young hitter like that to draw a quality at-bat like that is, you know, well above his years.
There is now some action in the bullpen, and right on cue, you see someone loosening up, stretching and out. I can't tell who it is. I think it might be James Snellgrove, just looking at the shadowy figure down there without seeing a number. I would suspect that's who it would be. He pitched 4 innings last week in the finals.
I believe that is.
Travascus fouls it away. He had that big double off the wall in his last at-bat. Will that be distracting for you as a batter, looking straight away in center field and someone waving a big flag, even if it is your team's colors?
I think so. Well, go both ways. Distract, but also fire you up at the same time.
It kind of looked like Gryffindor colors.
Yeah, you're right. That's awesome, though. You love the club support. It's been amazing this past weekend.
Pitch up high, and just like Clohessy, Travascus fouls one away, takes a ball, and evens the count up at 2.
That's through.
Over to the left side, it's a base hit. Clohessy stays at 2, and right on cue, Henley&Grange, for the first time since the first inning, have back-to-back base runners.
Big time at bat by Luke right there. Previous at bat, absolutely demolished the ball to left center, and then to come up with another hit, past the line.
Well, and you know that the top of the lineup is lurking. And it's a top of the lineup that has been very effective today. They've scored all of their 5 runs, those first 3 batters. and they're a combined 6 for 12 on the day, those top 4. So a double play ball here would be very important, you'd think, as Ethan Kelsey is going to come in for an at-bat.
Yeah, very important, but also with Bones going out there for the mound visit, if they do decide to make a pitching change, that would mean that you lose Nate's bat out of the rest of the lineup. But you would expect, that they're... Oh.
Kelsey knocks over to the left side. They couldn't make the play. They'll hold, and the bases are loaded with the top of the lineup coming up. Ethan Kelsey's had just 13 plate appearances all season, and he's going to be standing on first now. And now what does Tyrone Hambley do?
Wow. 4th time through for Koki, and has had some success off Nate. This is a very crucial at bat because, defensively, you're still 1 pitch away. Obviously, with the speedy Koki, it's not an easy task, but you got to at least get 1 right here for Henley.
Henley&Grange have hung in there all afternoon since falling behind 8-0 in the first inning. They were down 4-0 before they made an out. They hung tough, but they haven't got within striking distance yet. They're a base hit away from doing that, or a ground ball away from leaving them loaded. West Torrens have left the bases loaded 6 times this weekend. Henley&Grange have been a bit more opportunistic. Can they continue that here? Huge moment for young Koki Yanazawa. Koki down the left field line, it goes foul. 2 strikes on Yanazawa, who struck out once but also hit a home run this game.
Yeah, you're right. And 3 breaking balls there. Backdoor and then inside and then another backdoor.
Change up here?
It will be very interesting. I think that's the go-to pitch, but 3 curveballs. Might see if you can get him chasing 1 low.
Yanazawa jammed. It's right behind home plate. McGarry looking for it. He runs out of room, and it just gets out of play. We'll do it again. 1-2 count.
That was a great pitch right there by Nate. And way to foul that off by Koki. That was a couple meters away from being a pop out. And, yeah, same thing.
Partington and Garbella stand behind Yanazawa, and they are piping hot. This is the moment for Henley&Grange, and everybody in this ballpark knows it. Huge pitch, Vanderlinden to Yanazawa. Grounded over to second. McGarry flips for 1. Yanazawa hustles down the line. He's safe. A run scores, and this game is slammable.
You're right. That was the pitch that Nate wanted. Just speed kills. Couldn't get the double play, but still get a run across the board. And yeah, you're right. It's slammable. So if Partington can come up with a big hit and RBI, that'll give a chance for Garbella to tie this up with 1 swing.
Jack Partington has been very good this weekend. 1 for 3 on Friday with a run and a walk. 2 for 4 yesterday with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. This game he scored twice. He walked and manufactured a run by swiping a couple bags. He had a base hit and later scored to start the rally in the first. He's made 2 great catches in the outfield. Pardo has done a little bit of everything for his club this weekend. He's even pitched in 2 games. This would be a signature moment for Pardo here. 2 outs. Runner is going. They're not going to bother throwing. There's 2 runners in scoring position. Travaskis at 3, Yanazawa at 2. Can they find that big inning, or can Vanderlinden hold again? Swing and a miss. A massive strikeout from Nathan Vanderlinden keeps the game with a bit of a margin.
What a pitch. What a pitch. And that's where, as a hitter, he's looking on that second pitch, and he saw the runner. He probably took a changeup that he probably wanted to take a pass on, and Nate came back, and yeah, even though it was over the plate, that was one of his better sliders. He let it all hang out on that one, and massive strikeout.
Well, he dodged, ducked, dived, and dodged a big inning all afternoon for Nate Vanderlinden. Henley&Grange have scored in every inning except for 1, but there's been nothing massive, and that was their best opportunity.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And look, for West Torrens, that's a big win. You had the middle part of their lineup coming up with runners on base, and A couple hops, that could have been a double play for West Torrens wise, but holding it to 1 run is big.
I mean, how massive is this in terms of if Partington had got on, whether it be a walk or a base hit, Garbella comes up with base runners in a game that he has that powerful bat and could potentially tie it with one swing. Now he comes up to bat, and it could be mathematically his final at bat of the season if everything goes down in order, and nobody is on base. That is taking a damaging situation away from the most damaging batter.
Yeah, you're right. And anytime you go through a 3rd time in the lineup, that's very tough for a pitcher. But to go a 4th time in the leverage of the situation when, as a hitter, you know exactly what the pitcher's got. And to come out later in your pitch count and to execute a pitch like that, that's just a job well done by Nate.
Garbella still on the mound. West Torrens scored 8 runs right off the bat. And then Simon Wilson came in and pitched about 4 innings of really solid baseball. He allowed just the one earned run, 3 runs total. One of them were accounted to his name. Garbella came in with bases loaded in the 5th inning. He got a 1-2-3 double play. He's followed that up with a 1-2-3 inning. So Garbella now working into his, well, he's pitched an inning and 2/3 so far. He's been solid. He needs a hold again with the top of the lineup looming. Jasper Clark starts things off, and he'll take a first pitch ball. But we are now into the 7th inning. This flared straight up in the air, will be playable for Partington, 1 down. And again, Henley&Grange still grinding away, still keeping in touch.
Yeah, and if Henley comes back to make this a ball game, it's their relievers, it's their middle half. The guys that have come in, Willow is going to be the dark horse player of the game to allow them to stay competitive in this one. And, Gio's doing his part. So they're doing an outstanding job keeping him in this ball game. So big inning right here for Henley. If they can go 1-2-3 and take that momentum back with 3-4-5 coming up in the lineup, they just got to continue to keep it rolling.
Nick George takes a pitch. That's in for a strike. Oh, Garbella just filling up the zone. George has scored twice already today. All but one of the West Torrens players have scored. 3-pitch strikeout. Nick George not happy at all, but he's going to be sat down on strikes.
That was a great spot right there by Gio. He's pounding the zone, and look, he's in a roll on the mound, so it's good to see for Gio. And look, he's rolling, so Henley's just got to stick with him and continue to stay there. And anytime that you can get Tom McGarry up at bat with nobody on and in a situation like this, you're feeling pretty confident as Henley.
Tom McGarry stands in. He is still having his tremendous run right now. He's been on base 4 times today, 13 plate appearances, 12 times he's reached. Can he make it 13 out of 14? And he's off to a good start, 2-0. Hey, he swung.
He did.
He hasn't been given much to hit this weekend at all.
That was a hack. I like it. 2-0, he was cheating fastball. It was just away. Big swing. Just fouled it back.
And a strike laid on him, so it's a 2-2 count. Garbella trying to get his 8th batter in a row sat down, if you include that double play. Really disrupt the flow of this West Torrens offense. The first 7 batters that came up scored. The 8th one was Nick George again in the 2nd, but my goodness, since then it's been pretty good from Henley&Grange. Over towards left field. It might go into foul territory.
Playable.
It is back into fair territory, and can you believe it? Tom McGarry is out.
Rare sighting, but Heck of a job by Gio. Going through the top of the lineup, 1, 2, 3. That was amazing job for him, and he gets to lead it off now.
2 1/3 here. We'll see if they decide to make the switch, or does Vanderlinden come back out there. And I haven't seen him step out yet. Is this the moment that they make the change? No. Vanderlinden walking back out to work his 7th inning. I'm gonna get his pitch count up for everybody here. He entered only with 84. Remember, he had that first ground, or 74 in the last inning. He got that first ground ball, but then all of a sudden, it was the bases loaded. But Vanderlinden still only at 101. This likely his final inning. It's the 4th time through. He's only got 24 pitches he can throw. He's still got that 4-run buffer. It was once an 8-1, but they've just chipped away, chipped away, chipped away. Can they finally strike? Garbella, Hernandez, and Bull due up. It's a good part of the lineup to start things off here. But now, Henley&Grange, well, certainly West Torrens. If you're in the West Torrens dugout, now that you've reached the 7th inning, you're starting to count outs.
Yeah, you are. You are. And that's where, when will we see Nate? Or, sorry, when will we see, the reliever come in? And
Mitch Newenborn?
Yeah, Mitch Newenborn. He's down there in his hoodie, and Snellgrove's up, I think, in the bullpen is what I see. And, yeah, it's a matter of, is Mitch going to be able to get in this game, or is it going to go to Snellgrove, and can Nate finish this inning?
I think it's also not necessarily about when Newenborn comes in, but it might be who he faces. You'd rather probably Newenborn face the likes of Yanazawa, Partington, and Garbella if it's in a dangerous situation. So you'd think later in the game is when Newenborn would be used to face that tricky part. First pitch swing from Giovanni Garbella. He's got a home run in this game already. He's 2 for 3. 1 for 2 Friday, 2 for 2 Saturday, 2 for 3 today. RBIs in all of the game. He's pitched pretty well. I mean, if Henley&Grange come back to win it, he's going to be a big reason why. Triple Crown winner. This could potentially be his final at-bat of a tremendous season, although that would mean they'd have to face just the minimum, which the way this game has gone doesn't feel likely, but it is possible.
Possible, highly unlikely though.
But the way it's setting up means that in the 8th or 9th, Garbella is going to get an opportunity to try to do some damage. Grounds one away. Won the Super League MVP as well. An RBI machine all year long. Pitch on the outside, being very careful with them, brings the count full.
Let's see if Nate gives in here.
Another walk. Garbella is aboard for the 3rd time today. And now Hernandez and Bolt will have a crack at it. I mean, 4 runs still feels like a distance. At what point do you start to feel tight in the dugout if you're West Torrens? Is it 3 runs? Is it 2 runs? 1 4-run buffer, you're still feeling, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah, you still feel pretty good. I mean, it's the uncertainty, right? Like, you know what you're getting from Nate. It's the uncertainty of what you have in the bullpen. And you got the middle part of the lineup now, so you're just trying to minimize and get at least 1 out here. 4 runs, you'll be all right giving up 1 spot, 1 or 2 potentially, but.
Snellgrove's still warming up, but there's another player starting to stretch, well, at least get standing out in the bullpen. And it looks like a Mitch Newenborn shadowy figure out there. That tells me he's going to play at some point. And if I'm, West Torrens, I'm just going to throw Newenborn out there, even if it's smoke and mirrors, just to say, you know what? Keep this in mind here, boys. Runner is going. Garbella will make a play at second. He slides in safe under the tag. And that Henley&Grange base running that's been so effective all weekend has put another player in scoring position. And there's 3 cracks at it, and it's all 3 ABL players who have played time in that league that are going to have opportunities.
Yeah, you're right. And look, I love the confidence because you know, you're chasing 4 runs. Most teams wouldn't take that, but look, this is their offense. This is the way that they play the game, and I love the fact that they're staying with their game plan.
Garbella with a healthy lead at 2. Up the middle, it's punched towards center field. Clark makes the play, 1 down. He just missed it.
He just missed it, and I think that came off like a knuckleball. I think he squared that up because Jasper was making a read to his left, and then he had to come back to his right, so couldn't have squared it up anymore, but unfortunately right at the center fielder.
Newenborn, from T-ball to championship series, steps in here. He's had RBIs in all the games except for this one so far in the championship series. He does have a hit tonight. He's 1 for 3. What can Bully do? Can he drive in that other run? Vanderlinden finds the plate.
And I think for Henley, this is the right guy in the situation. He's been going with pitches, and on top of that, if he can drive this runner in, he's a threat on the base path as well.
Swings through it. He's behind 0-2.
Good pitch by Nate. There's that changeup again, and now he seemed to find his rhythm back in the strike zone.
Swing and a miss, a huge strikeout for Nate Vanderlinden. His 7th of the afternoon, and that alleviates some pressure.
Man, 2 outstanding changeups right there, and you know, as a hitter, you're coming up in that situation and you're expecting fastball, then the bottom just drops out of it and then goes back to it again, and those are the pitches that start right down the middle and just disappear out of the strike zone.
Weber. Pitch on the inside, but a 3-pitch strikeout to Liam Bull doesn't happen very often. It happens to the best of us. And that off-speed starting to locate.
Yeah, it is. Great bounce back. And that's the thing, you just don't know what to sit right now.
Weber fouls one off, and Vanderlinden, who had a base runner in scoring position with no outs, 1 strike away.
It's a very good pitch right there from Nate. As a hitter, you're just trying to battle and just try to stay simple, get a single.
Fouled away once again. Henley has scored in all but 1 inning in this game. They've been plucky. Can they continue that trend? Weber straight up in the air. It's playable for Hambley, and he makes the play. Danger averted. We've played 7. West Torrens get out of a jam. They lead by 4. We'll take a very quick break. 2 innings to go.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Back at the ballpark, a 10-6 game right now. It's been A story of, well, West Torrens were handed a pretty big lead right off the bat. They scored 8 runs in the first inning, 4 before an out was recorded. They've added a couple runs here and there, but Henley&Grange have been plucky. They've got themselves opportunities. They've scored 6 runs, but they're chasing 4, and time's starting to become a factor right now. Still on the mound is Giovanni Garbella. He's pitched very clean, 2 2/3. He's got a double play to get out of a bases-loaded jam to just keep Henley&Grange in with the sniff. And he's gone 1-2-3, 1-2-3. But when Tyrone Hambley comes up to bat, it'll mean that he's now faced the lineup once. What adjustments do they make, and do Henley&Grange start to make any bullpen changes? Eric Ballner, Austin Gallagher on the call. 2 innings left in the South Australian baseball season.
What a game it's been. I know it's still a 4-run competition, but hitting has been fun to watch today. And oh, there goes the bat.
Well,
good launch angle on that one. Get some pine tar.
it's slippery even for the hitters, too.
I can't believe that's only the first time that's happened today.
I know. Well, and right now they got a nice little gap before more rain comes in, so West Torrens will want to finish this off as quickly as possible. Here's a look at that replay. Whoop!
Oh.
4!
It's such a weird feeling as a hitter. Like, you just lose control of the bat. It's tough going back in there and trying to control that next swing.
Snellgrove's still warming up in the bullpen. It's an interesting one because I'm not too sure how many more arms they have. I mean, there's sort of a rumor swirling around about whether Jared Large is feeling a little bit sore and available this weekend. If he hasn't been used yet, it kind of tells me that, yeah, he's not available, so they probably only have 3 pitchers available. Swing and a miss from Garbella.
Great pitch right there.
West Torrens would have needed a good start from Vanderlinden, get deep in the game. They've got that box. Now it's the timing of Newenborn. They won't have him for many, and it's going to be in that high leverage moment. And if you go to him too soon, well, then you can't use him again. They've gotten the later stages, but with the top of the lineup lurking again soon for Henley&Grange, how you balance that going to be a tricky one for Tyrone Hambley.
Yeah, you're right. Timing is the most important part. And if you look at big league managers, I mean, a lot of your success comes from how you handle a bullpen, and I know options are at a premium for both sides, but it's when you do have an option like Mitch that is potentially available, it's when you do go to him if he is able to go.
It feels like Snellgrove's been warming up for like 25 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on how he was used through the season, because that's one thing. If he was used as a starter, that would be okay for him to get a good amount of work in, so it feels like he's coming into the 3rd or the 4th inning. But if he has been as a reliever, he could be a little bit gassed and fatigued. But I'd imagine that he was used as a starter throughout the season between 1s and 2s, and it just might make him a little bit more comfortable coming in. And it looks like
mainly used in the 2s this year, but yes, as a starter, and you can see him. He's done warming up now. He's now starting walking back. I would say you'd bet your house on him starting the 8th inning.
Yeah, 100%.
Hambley, a rocket shot to left field. Travaskis turns, looks, and it's gone.
Wow.
A bomb from Bones.
That was absolutely hammered, Bones. Man, he has squared 3 balls up today in the first 2 of no luck. Had a jam shot flare for an RBI. And look, the coach, the 4-hole, the cleanup, the leader coming up. Big spot, big moment, home run, Bones.
And 5 runs just feels that much more tricky than 4.
It does, and that's an exclamation point on the way that their offenses came out, and that is a big moment for West Torrens, because, quite frankly, other than the first inning, obviously, their runs have, kind of been reduced by Henley's pitching staff, and that's a statement right there.
Bunt laid down from Vanderlinden, barehanded, and Garbella makes the out. The only blemish to Garbella's name so far is that home run, but like you said, he likes to sit on fastballs, and he just hammered one over the left field fence.
He does, and he's very dangerous the first couple pitches in the fastball count, and that's where his power is, left center to left field line, and he didn't miss it. And for him, he knew it off the bat too. He strutted out of the box, and you know, for somebody to hit a ball like that in these conditions, you got to hit it pretty good, and that ball was absolutely crushed.
5th home run if you include the regular season for the calendar year for Tyrone Hambley. When West Torrens needed some insurance, it was the coach, the leader, that burned down the house. Newenborn watches a breaking ball find the inside, and he moves up the count 1-1. And Henley&Grange's bases loaded opportunity, that's what they're ruining right now back in the 6th. Credit to West Torrens here. Henley&Grange have just kept coming, and West Torrens have just done enough just to hold them off. Having the 8-run advantage helps.
Yeah, and I think for West Torrens that gives you a lot more confidence because, like I said, they scored 8 in the first, and then but it's been Henley who's really been kind of chipping away at that lead, and West Torrens seems to just been like fighting them off, and to have some of that insurance gives them life back in that dugout, and especially for this offense.
Newenborn watches one go outside. He's got some serious power as well, this man. Swing and a miss, a strikeout from Garbella. He has pitched brilliantly, but Bones tagged him for 1. That's his 2nd strikeout, Garbella. He's also got the double play ball, and now look, it's the 7, 8, 9 batters coming up for the Rams. And this is what I mean by, let's play out a couple scenarios, some hypotheticals, because we're running out of time to do it as we go to the bottom 8. Clohessy, Travaskis, and Weber coming in, and Snellgrove on the mound. So important he goes 1, 2, 3, and that top of the lineup doesn't get an opportunity with a base runner, because if you were the manager here, let's play this out. Let's say Clohessy gets on and Weber gets on, and there's 2 runners on, 1 out. You're trying to protect a 5-run lead with Yonezawa, Partington, and Garbella coming. Do you go to the bullpen and try to bring in someone like Newenborn in the high leverage situation?
I think as a manager, you look at it as 7, 8, 9, 1, including Yonezawa with a 5-run lead, potentially 2, to try to get 2 outs with your reliever. If it's at 1 or less, then you probably would, so that you can, make sure that they stay under that. But I think as a defense, you're okay with allowing 2, but any more than that,
then
that's a little bit more of a risk. So I would be giving 7, 8, 9, 1 the opportunity for Snellgrove to get 2 outs. If it's 1 or less, then I would go to Newenborn.
Now, what if it's the scenario where they've scored a run or 2 and Garbella and Hernandez are due up?
Depends on how many runners are on base, I would say. Because if they have a chance to, with 1 swing, put them within 1, then I'm going to Newenborn.
Well, this is where the depth is going to be tested here, and they've done well, these 7, 8, 9 today for Henley&Grange. If they can get a couple base runners on, turn it over, and if they can somehow force them to use Newenborn earlier, who do West Torrens have after Newenborn? We know he doesn't have many pitches in him. He's going to be used in a high leverage situation if he's used at all. This is the opportunity for the 7, 8, 9 for Henley&Grange to put some pressure on here. These are massive 3 outs for James Snellgrove, who's been a long-time clubman. He's won premierships before. He's pitched in the ABL. He's a very good pitcher, James Snellgrove. But this is the opportunity for 7, 8, 9 to make a big impression on the game. That's how a championship could be won.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing about, I've faced Snellgrove as well. He's a very similar pitcher and similar repertoire to Vander Linden, but he's a lot more movement and he keeps the ball down. And that's going to be his success, is if he can get ahead and keep the ball down, then he'll be successful.
Newenborn is warming up in the bullpen. He's got a 5-run advantage right now. Jet Clohessy is batting right now. Snellgrove, he has a pitch down in the dirt. He pitched last weekend in the preliminary final. He started that game, went 4 1/3 in that winning effort for West Torrens. He's pitched in big games before. This isn't a strange scenario for him.
Yeah, he has. He's been in this moment.
Clohessy up the middle, should be handled by Vanderlinden. It is.
And that's the type of pitcher that Snellgrove is, because, like I said, it comes out the same as Nate, but he has very good sink to his ball, and he gets a lot of ground balls. And as an offense, if you haven't seen much of Snellgrove, it usually takes a time or two where you have to realize you just got to get under his pitches a little bit more and try to see that ball up a little bit higher out of the hand.
Luke Travaskis, and there he is. I mean, if it is a daunting task, if you're trying to chase 5 runs and you have to go up against one of Australia's best, they have to strike here. Not because anything against James Snellgrove. They have to strike because they know the next guy's even scarier.
And that's the thing. I know if I was in that dugout for Henley, if I was Pardo or Garbella or Hernandez, I'm preparing to face Newenborn. That's what you're going to get at this stage of the game. So don't let it surprise you when he comes in the game. Just understand that you got a battle, you can compete, and cheer on your teammates for them to get on base.
I love the idea of even if you're not going to use him, just get Newenborn up there and throwing in the bullpen, because that just puts so much more pressure on the 7, 8, 9 guys, because they know what's going on too. That just adds so much more pressure to this moment right here. Just poke them and see what happens. They'd be aware.
Yeah. And outside of Liam Hendricks, you'd arguably talk that Mitch Newenborn is, fighting for that top Australian pitcher in the whole country. So nobody wants to face him.
But there's a base runner. How about the game for lifelong Ram Luke Travaskis? Obviously, his parents highly involved in the club and in how this rolls. And Travaskis has been on base 3 times in the deciding game of the grand final.
He has. And, you just love to see a kid that's come up through the juniors program and step up into a role in a grand final. And at his age, he's still a real young kid, and to make a big impact on the game, it's well done on his behalf.
Ethan Kelsey up to bat. Reached his last time up before going down in a fielder's choice that Yanazawa grounded into. 1-0 count, so he's ahead early. And I think they're also getting Newenborn ready for the worst-case scenario of a couple runners on and the Garbella up to plate. I think that's probably the one, the name you're circling on.
Yeah, I would say with having that first out, I'm throwing here and I'm throwing to Koki, and I'd be ready for
maybe
Pardo.
even to Pardo, too.
Yeah.
I think it's if there's a couple runners on and a couple out and Giovanni Garbella up, that's when you say it's the best hitter in the competition, we're going to throw the best pitcher in the competition at you.
Yeah. If he can get a second out between these guys, these next 2 hitters, I think he stays in. But, yeah, even bases loaded with Pardo might be a move.
Kelsey over to right field.
Tough
It's going to
play.
be a tricky one. It drops for a base hit. Travaskis holds up at 2, and Ethan Kelsey is coming in the game, and he's been on base a couple times. How about that? And now things get a little interesting.
Things get very interesting.
And the problem here, too, though, Gally, is that if you go to Newenborn too early, he's only got a couple batters in him. We know that he's on a pitch count right now, so who do you go to after Newenborn?
Yeah, that's right. You know about the pitch count, but that's also the other thing. They could have a restriction on him only being able to come out 1 time as well. So he might not even be able to go out for the 9th if it does get there.
Yanazawa, a base hit to opposite field, and this is the scenario we were talking about. The bases are loaded, and Jack Partington and Giovanni Garbella are due up. What do you do? Wow.
Man, it's a tough call. It's a tough call, especially being on the field, because I know as a player, you want the guy on the hill to get the job done, but it looks like he's going to leave him.
I think you leave him until it's a save situation. Right? 4 runs?
Nah, I mean.
Oh, he's going now. He's going now.
Yeah. It's because he's 1 swing away.
Well, Newenborn tipped his cap at him.
Yeah, that means he's ready to go. So, yeah, with it being one, like Pardo could have 1 swing and the game's tied. So, and besides that, if Pardo comes up with a double, then Gio's 1 swing away from tying the game up too. So,
well, Newenborn won't be able to finish the game. He's not going to get 5 outs. I can almost bet the house that he won't be available to do that. So if that's the case, then who do you go to after? But I love this. We now have the two hottest batters in the competition, the meat of the lineup, Partington, Garbella, Hernandez, and you bring in the biggest dog of them all in Mitch Newenborn. He was used in these high leverage situations with the Giants. They won a championship. Used in the high leverage situation with Team Australia, they advanced to the quarterfinals. Used in high leverage situations and as a starter last year for West Torrens, they win a championship. This guy just is money anywhere he goes.
I love the move. You can't keep him out there guessing and wait. Regardless if he finishes the game or not, this is the most important situation of the game for both teams, and nobody better to have on the mound other than Mitch.
He can reach up to 95 miles per hour. He's got a bit of sink about him. He's got a few nasty variations. He's a swing and miss guy that can very easily go strikeout, strikeout. A lot to like about Mitch Newenborn, a lively arm, and we get to see him pitch in a big situation, a grand final, before he goes to the States to play affiliated ball with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, and honestly, it's great to see him in this situation. It's great for baseball out here, and nobody better to have out. And that's the thing about Mitch is, he had that stellar year last season as a starter for West Torrens, and coming out of the bullpen, he's just got better and gotten nastier. And he's added more pitches to his repertoire. And
that's flying.
Yeah, it's flying. It's flying in there. So, and that slider is not something you want to see as a right-handed hitter.
Jack Partington has been excellent all game. He's been on base a couple times, scored a couple times. Been on base a couple times in all of the games this series. Changed the game last night with his wheels. Kept Henley&Grange in touch with a few great defensive plays. Henley&Grange supporters are chanting Pardo, Australia's best active pitcher, at least in this country, pitching right now, is on the mound. Pardo, it's first down. Pitch swing, it's jammed, it's down, it's one run, it's still bases loaded, and this game is slammable with the most dangerous bat in the competition.
Wow, first pitch swinging, Pardo fights one off up the middle. And, man, that's what you want to see. Two ABL teammates going at it right there, and that's big-time players make big-time plays.
The
well
best
done,
pitcher in South Australia in Mitch Newenborn going against the best batter in South Australia. 15 homers, 34 RBIs, an OPS close to 1,500. He's hit a home run this game. Both ABL players, both professional pitchers, Garbella versus Newenborn, bases loaded, a swing of the bat would tie it and complete a remarkable comeback.
How else would you want it, Eric?
This got interesting. Swing and a miss, and there's a great pitch from Newenborn.
That one had some life on it. The other aspect of it is defensively, how you play this, because obviously tying run is up at the plate, but do you play it straight up or do you play no doubles? It seems the outfield is at a pretty straight up depth, so balls put in play down the line are going to be tricky.
Grounded and foul, so Newenborn quickly ahead 0-2.
And there's that slider we were talking about. So he's got that gradual slider, and then he's got a real wipeout one that's extremely late, that's about 87, 88, which he can go with anything right here.
Tying run at the plate. Newenborn versus Garbella, bases loaded, one out, 0-2 pitch. Holds it. It takes a funny bounce off the wall, and that saves a run.
For West Torrens' sake, thanking the brick right there, because that ball normally on any other backstop is another run, and those runners advance to second and third. But, man, that was a lucky bounce.
Wow. Gio Garbella on a 2-2 count. Didn't get the call. Newenborn thought he had it. Garbella ice cold.
Wow. Big take right there.
The count is full. The bases are loaded. Stays alive. How did he stay on that?
Man, Gio wants that one back. He just missed that one. And now this is the battle right here. It seemed like Gio's getting closer and closer to that fastball. Does he stay with the fastball, or does he go to the breaking ball right here?
Pitch number 7 in the at-bat. Swing and a miss!
Fastball in.
Newenborn wins an epic battle.
What a pitch. And that's massive confidence right there by Mitch. And that's the thing, he's got that fastball that has that crazy backspin life, and then that one, he let it ride and just beat him inside with that pitch.
Doesn't get easier. Landon Hernandez already has a couple RBIs today. He has played professional baseball for a very long time, and he's as disciplined and good as a hitter as you get.
And he is no slouch on a heater either.
Has had a tendency to chase a couple on the outside, but he lays off one there. Hernandez hasn't had the normal statistical batting season he has, but he's had clutch hits all year. And he fouls one back.
That was a good cut on that. That was a good location, too. That was down and away, and Landon just missed that. So now you're in a tricky spot here as a hitter because he's thrown you that slider you've laid off. But with the fastball, you got to stay on the heater and just try not to expand.
Gets the call on the outside edge.
Great pitch by Mitch. Couldn't have thrown it any more perfect. That was a pitcher's pitch right there, and man, he's feeling it. You can see him out there on the mound.
Newenborn to Hernandez. 2 strikes. And he'll take a second. Hernandez, the leader of the Rams. Working on a 1-2 count. A swing of the bat ties it. One pitch gets him out of the jam. Stays on it. It's popped up in foul territory. Hambley's running out of real estate. That goes foul. We live to fight another pitch at 1-2. High leverage guy, high leverage situation. We go again. Swing and a miss! Australia's ace gets back-to-back Ks with the bases loaded in the championship decider, and we're going to the ninth with a 4-run lead.
That was unbelievable sequencing, and he went with the changeup away. So he started landing off with the slider and then got on him with a couple of fastballs and then finished him off with the least expected pitch that Landon was thinking and a well-executed changeup blown away. And in that situation, man, that's what you have him for. Big-time moment, big-time player.
Well, he just got the Triple Crown leader and a former Caps medal winner out swinging with the bases loaded, and the Rams have left the bases loaded twice in the last 3 innings. They've been a base hit away from really having this game tied. They've stormed back from 8 runs down, but they haven't been able to strike when they've got close.
That seems to be the story of the series. Everybody's been getting guys on, and yesterday Henley got him in, and West Torrens didn't yesterday, and West Torrens has been getting them in today, and, you know, the lineups for both squads are tremendous, and, yeah, 7-11 game. It's just a matter of taking care of the ball and executing when it's time to go.
8 times in a combined 3 games, or 8 times combined in these 3 games, these teams have left bases loaded to end an inning. That's so many runners left on base, man.
That is. But there's a lot of other variables that go with that, too. It's, you know, you're playing under lights, playing with the wind, playing at some new fields, so you don't know if that comes into a factor or not. But, look, every team's had their opportunity, and it's been a dogfight all 3 games.
I mean, that was electric stuff there.
That was lights out.
And that was the scenario. We talked about that literally as the inning was about to start. We were like, hey, what about this scenario? We got the scenario. It was an enjoyable one to watch. But now the next question is who's next?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's going to be interesting to see if there's anybody at all that's getting loose. I think Bones just was behind the dugout. So if if Mitch can go back out again or if that's going to be the rest of his night, but it doesn't seem that anybody's down there for West Torrens'.
First pitch swing from Jacob Scott.
That's down.
And
That's
he
two.
finds a gap. Scotty rounding one. He's going for two. A leadoff double for Jacob Scott.
What a swing, Scotty. Man, big hit right there. If you're West Torrens, you just need another insurance run.
Pinch hitter for the West Torrens Eagles, in for Sawada.
Jude.
Barker swings on his first pitch. Here in the top of the ninth, it was an 8-0 lead before you could blink, and off you go. And a tagged ball to left field again. That drops. They're going to hold up, and now 2 runners on no outs.
What a swing by Barker, coming in off the bench, pinch hit situation, and coming up big for your team. That was outstanding. Now, West Torrens is in a great spot here to add some insurance runs.
Out. Runners on the corners. So it's going to be Jasper Clark coming in. This is a big opportunity to provide a knockout blow.
And Shane Allen pinch running at first base.
Yeah.
He's got some serious wheels over there at first.
Ground ball up the middle. It's going to score 1 run. Yanazawa will get the double play, but a 5-run lead reestablished, and that might be the breathing room that they need once again.
Look, anytime you hit a double play is not ideal, but they manufactured a run, and 5 runs is that insurance that you wanted as West Torrens. You'll take it.
Nick George leads things off.
And nobody in West Torrens' bullpen, so Mitch is trying to finish this game for him.
Or, yeah, you're right. Or is it just because your guys that might pitch, like a Jacob Scott or a Jasper Clark, were just on base and now are off of it? So that also could be a 2, but you're right, Mitch could be very well coming out again. Pitch just a bit down low. And another walk. So Nick George is aboard for the 4th time today. And Tom McGarry, what a series he's had. He's 4 for 6, 7 walks, a hit by pitch, and 3 RBIs. He's come to the plate now. This is his 15th time. He's reached 12 of them. And Garbella, it just sort of feels like he's starting to run out of gas just a little bit.
Yeah. He's extended out quite a bit, but he's still competitive, and
he's kept him in it.
He has. Their bullpen has done an outstanding job.
I mean, they left the bases loaded twice. They've had chances.
Yeah, they have.
Now we're down to the final inning of the final day of the South Australian baseball season. 8-run lead right off the bat. It was 4-0 before they even registered an out. 8-0 after 1 for West Torrens, and despite a couple home runs, a couple opportunities, Henley&Grange kept plugging back. Nick George is going. but McGarry is jammed. They make the play, and now it's last chance to dance. But they pegged back. They got within 4. They had the tying run to the plate and bases loaded. They've had chances, but now what can they do? We'll see if Newenborn heads back out there. How does this play out? McGarry will finish the weekend 4 for 7, 3 RBIs, including the first 2 today. He reached base 8 times because of walks or hit by pitch. Reaching 12 times out of 15 is a pretty productive weekend, you would say, for Tom McGarry. But, well, Mitch Newenborn still going back out there. He got those 2 big strikeouts, and now a very daunting task if you're Liam Bolt, Griffin Weber, and Jet Clohessy having to go against Newenborn here. And there doesn't look like there's anybody going to be warming up in the bullpen either.
No. This is Mitch's game.
And the Eagles can surely taste their 2nd straight premiership.
Yeah, they're in a good spot. Great lead. Best pitcher in the league up, so.
They were out of the finals in January, but they stormed home late, including winning 20 of 22. Entering this weekend, what a tremendous season for both of these teams. But West Torrens, that first inning where they scored 8 runs really is the big difference maker. And don't forget, they scored 4 runs, and then all of a sudden it was still 4 runs and 2 outs. And then Nick George hustled out that infield single, and they tagged on a couple more. It was big 2-out hitting with bases loaded, sort of rectifying the issue that they had in the previous games. Liam Bolt, can they get on base? Eagles dugout up and about. They know that they're close. Newenborn just getting that last bit of mud off his shoe. I like how they've got a mud stick now at the back of the bullpen. Or back of the pitcher's mound. First pitch strike.
That was gas.
This is a lot less of a stressful situation for Newenborn than the last inning.
Yeah, clean inning. And gets to feel it the way he wants.
Think back, though, the last inning, how was the nerve on Partington on the first pitch to jam one up the middle?
I love it. He's aggressive. He's a competitor, and he's been in some of those situations in the ABL, and he was probably loving that matchup.
An epic weekend, and it felt like a battle, and now Bull strikes out looking. 3 strikeouts for Mitch Newenborn so far.
That was filthy. That looked like a outside changeup that caught the edge, and yeah, after you go 2 pitches that are mid-90s to come up with that, that's frozen.
Same spot and another good pitch, and Newenborn is just living on that outside edge right now.
He is, and he's got his whole pitch mix working as well too, so makes it even tougher. And as a hitter, you just got to be able to sit fastball and make sure you're on time for that, as tough as it is.
Fouled back, and he's behind 0-2. He struck out Liam Bull on 3 straight pitches, and now he's got Weber quickly in an 0-2 count as well. Newenborn sets. Trying to get him to chase.
Wow. That's a tough pitch to lay off of, but discipline right there from Griff. Great pitch by Mitch.
Ball just slipped out of his hands a little bit there on the ball that rises up and in. 2-2 count. West Torrens trying to complete the double they won in Division 2 over Henley yesterday. Trying to continue the trend of teams that win Game 1 that go on to win the championship series. Didn't get the call on the outside edge, so 3 straight balls thrown by Newenborn. swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts for Mitch Newenborn. And 1 out stands between West Torrens and going back-to-back.
And that fastball just exploded out of his hands. At that angle where it was coming out, you would have thought it was going to be down, and it just rode and stayed right there at the knees. That was electric. Oh, that's not fair. First pitch change located in.
Oh, how do you hit? What do you do?
That's tough.
Poor Jet Clohessy.
Guess and pray.
Newenborn trying to finish this thing out. Was the MVP, remember, of the championship series last year. Trying to complete the double, back-to-back for West Torrens. Down to their final strike. Mitch Newenborn has been brilliant. The Eagles, a brilliant bounce back from a tough start. They can taste it now. Newenborn set to deliver. Down low. He'll reset and do it again. The dugout can feel it. The supporters can feel it. This guy only knows how to win championships. Newenborn sets again. The 2-2 to Clohessy. Well, he's worked it full.
Jet battling once again, having another quality at bat. Just trying to keep the train rolling.
Good for Jet to foul another one away. That electric moment with bases loaded and the tying run to the plate with Garbella and Hernandez up. Newenborn got them swinging. Can he end the game in the same way? Can he end the season in the same way? Grounded over to third. Charging on is Scott across the diamond. They've gone back-to-back. The Eagles of West Torrens continue to soar above the rest. A battle all weekend and deserved premiers.
What a game, what a series. Just hard fought by both teams all the way throughout, and great baseball, and man, it was a pleasure to be a part of, and both teams deserve to be here. And man, West Torrens coming out on top. They just fought and competed all the way through, and man, outstanding from both clubs.
I've got to run down on the field, so I'll say thank you to all you for tuning in all season long. Thanks to producer Mitchell on the switch today and all the Spacequake Sports crew. They might leave you with a couple minutes of the presentation. We'll let you know how it goes. Austin Gallagher, thanks for joining us. But that's how it ends. Eagles 12, Rams 7. They win it in 3.